Hey everyone, welcome to Jono's Late Chat Show. Love and relationships for our Friday night, joined by Dilara Tetik.
Hello everybody, good evening.
We don't know where Ick is yet, but he'll join us soon, I think.
He's probably trying to decide out which bottle of wine he's going to drink tonight.
So I've got my tea. Because I get drunk
and
on...
I've got my bottle of water, just to be in the safe side.
I got my tea because I get drunk on a glass of wine, like, very easily.
Same as Jono. So this would
You
be
drink
fun.
more than I do.
Well, it depends, like, what's your definition of more?
And you drink more than one glass?
Well, I'm not really sure about that, but lately I'm becoming more and more lightweight, so this is more than enough for me.
Oh, we've got our first guest. Hey Claire, great evening. Great evening everyone who's showing up, by the way. It's like Graham Torrington with Late Night Love, if you know who he is. I don't know who he is.
I'm gonna Google it straight. Graham Torrington.
It'd be rude if I would say him. I don't know him on live on the internet, wouldn't it? So I should find out. I probably have heard of him or what he does, or at least heard of him on radio.
Yeah, British radio. Sure. Yeah, I heard him as well. BBC Radio.
Yeah, yes, I do remember. Sorry, Graham. I have listened to some of your stuff previously.
We will listen more.
Well, yeah, we'll listen more and learn more as well about his stuff, because he does a lot of relationship, love, and dating stuff as well.
Ah, see, that's pretty cool.
Evening, Katrina. Evening, George. Great to see you again. Let's see. How was your yoga class this morning, Dilara?
How do you know about that? Because I put it in Instagram. Oh, it was the best! With the kitten. Oh my god! I don't think there's nothing to talk about. It's so cute.
You had a kitten on your yoga
and it's
mat
really funny.
for yoga.
Yeah, I was really, but the funny thing is, like, I was really moaning about the plank, so I'm really struggling with that one. So I'm still rebuilding my core. So, and I was just doing it, but I was just stopping, and suddenly in the last two, he just literally she just came, just literally just put there, and if I just didn't do the plank properly, I would squash her. So I was like, I think this kitten is really genius. So it was really we were just doing, I can't remember a couple of positions, like she ended up like attacking my hair, like playing my hands. It's just gorgeous.
So fluffy. Look, I don't know if anyone can see this. Is that all focus?
You can't see it.
Oop. Sorry, that's that one.
Oh, yeah, they don't want to see me. If they can't see it, let me try to show it.
Yeah, I'm have to like find it on open a new tab and share that screen instead. Anyway, we're back on love and relationships. What's on the menu tonight? George asked, "What's on the menu tonight?"
There you go.
Fluffy, so fluffy.
Yeah. My new workout buddy. What's on the menu tonight? Yeah, the best workout buddy. Like, totally. Biggest cheerleader.
Oh, there's the man himself. So we are joined by... Never mind.
He was like, hi, bye.
Yeah, I am here, but I'm not actually here.
Very fluffy. He is indeed very fluffy.
Is it he or she? Did you actually know?
Pardon?
Was it a he or was it she?
Oh, I should really figure that out, shouldn't I? I have no idea. Something in the middle. So what's on the menu tonight? Oh my god, he's drinking tea. Unless he's got.
I think that's probably wine. He doesn't. He doesn't
It's really
have
weird, bro. Like now, I'm just like. Are you feeling alright?
It's tea. It's tea. I got started. I had a couple of beers, so I'm a little bit, you know. I need tea right now.
Oh,
But with that being said, depending on how it goes tonight, I do have a new bottle. Oh, sis, I like it. I like it. I'm gonna have to join
Hold
you.
on a minute, guys. That was 11:30 here, and I had the most hectic week. What are you doing? Oh my god.
So, are you 2 hours ahead of us?
Yeah, it's what time is it here? It's 11:40 here.
Okay. Have you had a nice day?
I did. I had an amazing workout with this gorgeous fluffy little thing.
This one right here.
The cat.
So we're just showing the audience how fluffy this cat is because it was very nice to talk about.
Like it's just so cute. It's so soft, the fur. So Wong is like laughing now. Yeah, it's a bit crazy.
Yeah, we haven't kicked off with the topics yet, but we do. Wow. There's a question. There has been a question actually.
You know, this is probably your most popular topic of your whole live chat thing. You got already 10 audience.
I know everyone's waiting for us to get started, aren't they? Like, come on, let's get into the juicy stuff.
So
it's 9:30, isn't it? It's 9:30 on a Friday night, so there's on TV, and you guys chose to join us. So we are very grateful for it. Thank you.
So the first question that I did get in the comment was how to support a under a year boyfriend who's losing his career due to health, who's trying to come to teams and wants to do that by oneself.
I don't understand the question.
Can you repeat the last bit?
So how to support a under a year boyfriend who's losing his career due to health, who's trying to come to teams and wants to do that by oneself.
I think she means, or he means, obviously she means terms.
He's trying to come to terms and wants to do that by himself. Okay, that makes more sense.
Under a year boyfriend, as in a boyfriend that is 1 year younger than her? Okay.
Less than a year together.
Oh, less than a year. Right,
She has put brackets. How to support brackets under a year boyfriend.
They almost together for a year, basically.
Yeah, they've been together almost a year.
So
he's trying to come to terms with it.
Do you boys want to go? Because you guys can give your point of view as men. Is
she here right now? Because I don't want to answer the question if she's not here at the moment.
It's anonymous.
It's anonymous. Okay. Is it by the poll, by the form?
It is by the form. So there's no name, there's no email. I just said we will answer it on the evening of the show. So should they choose to watch this back? Okay. So that I get a clarification that the audience understand what the question is, let's clarify. So she's asking, how can she support her boyfriend in terms of the fact that he's losing his way, right? He's trying to come to terms with he's losing his career. So
he's losing his career, which is affecting the relationship, obviously,
but due to health reasons, and he the way he is, he wants to deal with it, with the terms on his own. So I think
on his own.
A bit is that, like, that's what I just thought you boys can start, you men can start as a men's point of view, because I really well when you guys just get that pride, the ego up, like I can do it, like I'm not a victim, like you don't need to save me and things like that, you guys start to push away your partners. I'm not saying everyone, of course, but some men's pride can kick off. It does sound like a bit like that. So I think you guys can.
Yeah, I mean, just to clarify, because even George is confused, because even I was confused. I was like, what is she asking? So I think just to clarify for the audience, I think to clarify for George, so it's affecting the relationship in a sense, and she doesn't have to deal with she doesn't know really what to do, because her boyfriend doesn't really know what to do, in a sense that he's losing his job. He hasn't lost his job yet. He's losing his job, or his job is at risk because of his health issues. And but at the same time, he wants to deal with it himself. He doesn't want external help. He doesn't want help from his girlfriend. He doesn't want to express it. You know how guys are, right? Guys like to keep things to themselves, and like, as a man, we want to deal with. Yeah, we want to solve the problem ourselves. We want to deal with it, and until we hit rock bottom and then we cry for help, that's a different matter. And she doesn't really know what to do with that kind of situation, and it is affecting the relationship. Just to clarify for George, and for anyone else who is confused, I believe that's what she's asking about anyway. Do correct me if I'm wrong. You don't have to, if it's anonymous, you can just DM Jono if I'm wrong, and let him know that, just to clarify things. But I think that's the context of the issue here. So that's a very good question. Thank you for asking, whoever asked that. So yeah, I think it's a good. Jono, you start first.
I was just okay. Never mind.
So, he's running away from this. You know that, Jono, right?
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to deal with this right now.
You deal with this. You answer this question first, Jono.
Because he's the perfect person to answer this question, because he refuses help. He refuses support. That's what I'm like. I'm not going to say anything. You guys answer that, especially it.
Well, for a guy who's losing his career due to health, I mean, I didn't lose my career. I kind of made a choice to give up my corporate career because of health, I suppose, because of my physical and mental health. There was a period that, I was trying to deal with myself, which I needed help. I did ask for help, which is I asked Ik brother help for help. Otherwise, if I didn't, I probably would have not been here by now. However, that's a different story. For someone who's losing his career due to health conditions and wants to come to terms by himself, is just let him process it and just support him. The best thing you can do right now is to just give him this time and space and the love and support, and just support him mentally, if needed, physically, and make sure he is looked after and that he's safe and well and he's not going to do anything stupid. That is pretty much as you can really do for a guy that's trying to come to terms with his health conditions and challenges that he's trying to overcome. That's what worked for me anyway. Like, Pauline supported me through the tough challenges, the heartaches. She gave me the time and space that I need whenever I do have challenges like that. Yeah, just time, love, and energy, really. Just the support. That's as much as that. From my experience, that's what's worked for me.
Hey?
Sounds like a stubborn guy to me. I know many of them, including myself.
Bro, it's not you, is it? It's not like you.
No, you're right. No, I can highly relate to this. As Dilara says, I'm running away from this question because it's pretty much me too. So I can highly relate to this. Okay. Look, It sounds very much to me like someone who's asked this question has a very Asian boyfriend. I'm saying this because it's related to pride, especially with Asian men. We have something called pride, and it's, you know, we is something that we brought up in culture. We don't talk about things that, we want to save our face. We call it, Chinese people, we call it our face. Like we don't want to disgrace the family or whatever it is. Like basically, we just want to put on a show that everything is fine and we've got it all figured out. And it's a Chinese thing. It's an Asian thing as well. I realize that that's very true for a lot of my Asian friends, whether you're Indian or what. From that side of the continent, it's very much ingrained in our culture. So the only thing you can do really is yeah, there's one book I will recommend, and that is is one of the very first book I've read when I really got started into learning about
I'm sorry.
women and men and relationship, right? It's women are from men are from Mars, women are from Venus by John Gray, and he talks really well about the difference between men and women. It's a really great book to start off with for those who who doesn't understand the psychology of men and women. And in the thing about what John Gray talks about, the difference between men and women is that women love to talk about problems. They love to talk to one another, whereas men, they don't. Right? Men, they don't like to talk about anything, and if they do, they will only talk to men. But they will only talk to men who they feel have got their shit together. So men who they feel really like they look up to, right? Men that they respect and look up to, and even if they don't have the shit together, they still want to prefer to talk to them because they feel like, yeah, he's the person I will talk to. So men are like that. You have to understand, as women, for men, we are like that. So one thing you can do is, if you know anyone he looks up to or he respects, I'm giving like practical tips, right? Really practical ones. If you know him very well, if you know anyone he's really close to, a male figure authority that he really looks up to, like an older brother or a mentor or anyone, just kind of like talk to them and say, look, can you talk to him about, yeah, he's going through some time, don't give them the full details, just have a chat with him and let them do the work. That's the best thing to do.
But would that not backfire? Would he not turn around and say, "How dare you? Like, why would you even say that? This is something private to me."
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, like, so the best thing is like just like how I would approach it is like the thing is, if like this by the way, don't take this as a prescription, guys.
Oh,
This is just
so obvious that you can't accept help. Like you've been trying to answer this for the last 10 minutes, and it's
right.
just coming out, bro. Come on.
Yeah.
You can ask help. You can receive help. It's good. It's good.
Just the best way to do it is like just look. Here's the paradox, right? Here's the paradox. If it's someone I really look up to, right? If let's just say I'm the boyfriend and I have this issue, and you're the girlfriend. If you know me well enough and you know the person I look up to well enough, you will know also that actually this guy is close to me enough to know I'm going through issue anyway. So so if he's asking me like, "Hey, buddy, is everything okay? What's going on?" I wouldn't suspect you for telling him to begin with, because he's supposed to be someone I look up to, but he's close to me at the same time. That he would be able to sense that there's something going on, right? And it will be normal for him to ask me about it. So he can be really discreet about it. So yeah, it's absolutely okay for you to tell that mentor or guy to about the problem, that's the issue, but just making him be aware that if you talk to him, just be a little bit discreet, right? And he'll be discreet, and there wouldn't be anything wrong with it. That's what I'm trying to say. So there wouldn't be any problem that arises from that anyway. But that is one way. I'm saying that's just one method. That is one method. That's my number one go-to solution as like a trial, right? If anything was to work, that would probably work for most people first. And I'm telling you from personal experience, because I am such person that doesn't like to ask for help and like to figure things out himself. That, you know, I am such a person too. So I can tell you from personal experience, the best thing as a girlfriend that you can do is just hold my space. Like Dilara would probably talk more about this. The only thing I need from a girlfriend right now, if I was in such a space, is someone who would just hold the space. Like, don't let him try to figure it out himself, but occasionally just say, "Hey, honey, I don't know what it is. I know you're going through a lot of tough times right now. I just want to let you know that I'm here if you need anything, and I'm here to support you. If you want to talk, I'm here for you to speak to me about it. And if you don't, that's cool. You know, give them that space and give them that freedom, but at the same time, communicate that you're there for them. But don't be pushy. Don't try to fix them, because obviously, as a man with pride, he's trying to figure things out himself. And the only thing he needs right now is a woman that stands by his back and say, "I've got your back, no matter what. You can get this through. You got this sorted. I got your back, no matter what. But if you do need help, I'm here." That's all it is. At the end of the day, I think it's something as simple as that. You know, sis, I'm sure you've got something more profound to add to that, but you know, that's just my personal revelation.
Oh my God, it was it was a bit rumbling, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I was a bit like, what are we talking about now? So I'm just gonna read that question, just in case if anybody got a little bit confused after that, or you know, if anybody joined. So the question is how to support a boyfriend, they've been together under a year, who is losing his career due to health. He's trying to come to terms and wants to deal with it by himself. So there are a few things there. It's very difficult to answer that question, do this or do that. First of all, that it depends how the depth of that relationship, because if they have been together under a year, like, are they actually like, is it very close relationship? Like, are they quite intimate? Or because you can be with somebody that you can even be with somebody like 2-3 years, but you might not be really close. So it really depends how much they're sharing, first of all. Second of all, what's the health reason? So is it something like, I mean, it sounds like something really serious because it's going to affect his career. So with that, but the most important thing, the last one, is he's trying to come to terms and wants to deal with it by himself. So that part of it, obviously, like, I have to let X idea, because he gives his point of view as a man. So it's interesting, but I just want to flip that coin. And if you actually go to somebody and say to somebody like, can you like speak to my boyfriend, like this is happening, do you think what it is? I'm just concerned. I'm not saying it is. I'm just concerned that it might backfire and he might be like, just back the hell off. Like, I told you that I want to deal with it on my own, and it wasn't your place to go and tell somebody else. How about you actually listen what I need? Because if you really want to support me, like, because I heard these conversations in the couples therapy, that's what I'm just like repeating it. Like, what, like, if I told you that I don't need help, I'm going to deal with it. What makes you think that you can actually go ahead and reach out to somebody? So I'm just concerned that his pride and his ego might just come up even more, and then this thing it completely backfire. I really do think that's what I'm saying. It depends of the relationship dynamic. So under a year could be a really long time for some relationships, but for some relationships can be really short. So if you guys already know, you know, really close, if you guys met with each other's families and friends and things like that. So if you feel comfortable with X suggestion, you just feel into it. Do you think that you can reach out to people? Because don't reach out to someone randomly you don't even know, that you're just going to make it worse. So that's that. Second thing is, if he says that he's trying to he's trying to come to terms and wants to deal with it by himself. So my suggestion, I always say that no matter what it is, ask directly. Don't play games. Don't trying to like fish for the, don't go for fishing for the answers. Ask directly and say, look, what you're going through, it's very difficult, and I totally understand and respect that you want to come to terms with it on your own, and I'm listening to you. I'm not ignoring you, but I am someone that I really love and care about you. I feel like I want to do something. Just tell me what I can do. If you want me to back off and create that space, I'll do that. But just want to know that I'm here. I'm here to listen. I'm here to support however you want, but I don't want to create more pressure. I don't want to kind of like, I don't want you to think that I'm not listening. But I just want to know that I'm here and to support you. And I must tell you something. I know this is very difficult because I can only imagine that clearly you love your boyfriend. That it's very difficult to watch someone that you care about, and you know that there are things can be done, but they don't want to, and you're so desperate, want to help. But I think this is where in the relationships that we need to learn, we need to really listen to what our partner wants and really kind of respect that and back off there, but not kind of like have that intensity energy. No, you should really do this, you should do that, but back off. But they know that, we're there. So at any time, if he's ready, if he wants to talk, if he wants your support, you can be there. But I would say, as hard as it is, just listen to what he says and give that space. Because clearly there's this important health reason if it's affecting his career. Maybe, just maybe, he needs a little bit time to figure out what's going on. Maybe he's trying to figure out that what that health issues means. What does it mean for the relationship? What does it mean to his career? What does it mean to his future? So maybe there's so many things that he wasn't prepared for, and he's trying to figure out in his head. One thing I know about men, like us women, we want to talk, we go and we tell everybody. My understanding, at least with my work, I can say men need that time to figure out in their head first before they can communicate. But us women, we want to talk because that's how we find our truth. So, but for them, they go there, they want to sit there first, they need to figure out, and then they start to share. So maybe, just maybe, listen to him, but tell him that you're there when he's ready. So that would be my suggestion. So what does it say? Michael says, I think he should man up. She should leave straight away. Okay, I'm not being serious. I'm so glad to hear that, Michael. You have time and then gentle support and encouragement. Yes, I think we're all coming to the same. Genuinely, sometimes the self-following is damaging. She could force him to grow by being honest with him. It depends. I have no idea. I'm married. Have no idea about relationships. Well, marriage is one of the most important relationship dynamic, Michael. So no doubt you know a lot about it. And then what George says, there's also some reverse psychology there too, Dilara. Tetik. Some women will take offense to their significant other wanting some time alone. I see women in relationship feel so offended as if the man has shut her out completely, which isn't the case, and essentially jeopardize the relationship. Yes, that's like I completely agree with that, because what happens is a lot of the time, not all the time, of course, but a lot of the time, as women, we want our partner to be like us. Like our girlfriends, basically. I feel sad now, I feel happy now, let's connect and things like that. That's what us girls function. We talk about anything and everything. And sometimes we expect our partner to be the same. And I really do think sometimes you guys want your girlfriends to be like a dude. Just she shouldn't say anything, like she should be so chill and not care. So yeah, I think it's true. It's very true thing to say. I've seen women in relationship feel so offended as if the man has shut her out completely, which isn't the case, and essentially jeopardize the relationship. So yeah, it sounds like we all got the same thing anyway. So just give him time, let him adjust, but tell him that as and when he's ready, you're there for him. Jesus, that only took like 30 minutes.
And this is the reason why Dilara is the relationship coach expert we have brought on board, and not me. Okay. I need to crack open that red wine, like George said. I should crack open that wine and get started, man.
It will be like, yeah, hey, Jono, just take it. Just take that question.
Yeah.
Bro, just take that question.
That's okay, bro. You don't put yourself out there as a relationship coach.
Yeah.
So
Never take relationship advice from it lock yet. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm still learning myself, but I can only share my experience as a man anyway. But yeah, Dilara basically hit the nail on the head right there. Bam! It's exactly what I'm trying to say in a very more expertise professional manner. There you go, right there. Yeah, that's exactly what I said, sis. That's exactly what I said right there.
Michael says our secret power is the wine. I don't know if this is power or if this is where I'm losing my power. But I need to find out. Let's see.
We draw our wisdom from the red wine. I will get cracking in a minute. Don't worry.
I draw my power from tea.
Oh, man. Oh god.
That does sound how.
So what's the next question, bro?
That was the only question that was left in the form, so there's no more.
Oh, okay.
I did start the form late, so I didn't.
Shame on you. Shame.
Well, I was just thinking. I was like, maybe I should make a poster for us. So then that wasn't until yesterday or Wednesday evening.
Well, for those of you, anyone who's watching right now, if you got any specific questions, general questions about love / relationship / dating / anything relating to relationships,
Dilara has
totally, you guys ask, obviously you guys have the priority, but this is a conversation that I had many times, and I think because our cultures is quite similar in ways, so maybe we can talk about it. It might be a little, I don't know, this is all about love and relationships, so we can talk about kind of cultures and sex basically, but not
yeah.
And what I mean by that, I had a few conversations this week, and I kept repeating something like I don't know if I don't know if he was online, I don't know who was actually there, I have no idea, but for the people that never know me, anything about me, I'm originally from Turkey. So Turkey is a Muslim country, and I grew up with a single mother who said, like, literally no male figure, like not alone like a father, but not a kind of like a brother, uncle, or male cousins close. So we could just say that I just grew up with like strong female figure around me. And when I was little, I remember like one thing that my mom said to me over and over again. She said to me, like, you can do whatever you want to do, but don't bring basically like shame to our family. So not exact that words, but that's what she meant. And I am 42, and that's kind of engraved in my head. So that's why integrity is everything for me. Like, you can take my money, you can do whatever you want, you can say anything you like about me, but if you start to attack my integrity, that's where shit gets real for me. Like, that's where I'm kind of like, okay, now you back off, like, now this needs to change. And I know in Asian culture this is a challenge as well. And I actually had this conversation with a few gentlemen this week, few men as well as women, and we were, I was saying that sometimes, like, for me at least, like 22 years, I grew up in Turkey with a completely different culture, and then when I moved to London, I kind of like completely had a culture shock, because when I talk to people like in certain cultures, I find myself repeating one thing over and over and over again, especially like for people who do struggle to express themselves like sexually or connect with their partner. One of the biggest things that we just need to remember Video stop. Katrina says video stop. Our videos are stopped.
Is it? No, everyone still seems working on mine.
Okay.
No, it's working. Keep going.
Okay. And that is, it's weird. So us women, especially for certain culture, like I said, when we grow up, we've been told almost like the message is that just like don't have sex until you get married, and then like it's like if you enjoy sex, and then that means you're a whore. If you don't enjoy your sex, and then your husband says that, you know, like you're like a frigid or something, and then kind of like, or your partner says that. And I really do think that women struggle with this a lot because we don't know like what we're supposed to act like. Shall we express ourselves like sexually? Like, shall we not express ourselves sexually? Like, is it okay to enjoy it? It's not okay to enjoy it. And you know, the reason I'm bringing up, I think it's really important with anyone had any kind of problems in their relationship in that aspect, instead of like attacking the partner about what they feel comfortable, what they're not, the question shouldn't be like, where is it come from? And it's really, really, really important to make the partner feel comfortable and safe, for some reason. And this could be, for a lot of people, this could be like, oh yeah, of course, you know, like you don't even need to say that. But I really do feel like I need to say it, because this just started to come up a lot. So I just want to see that as you guys, like, what are your points or your thoughts, or did I make you both very uncomfortable? I did make you both very uncomfortable.
It's just like, could you simplify the question again, please, Dilara?
No, it's not about the question. It's about your thoughts. There is no question. It's just
so the thoughts about talking about
the tradition and like men when it comes to the intimacy, like sexual intimacy and things like that, making feel like women feel safe, but then part of the culture is like how men see this.
Yeah, basically creating the culture, the cultural values and beliefs that we were brought up in, kind of fucks us up in life when it comes to
when it happens.
Yeah, when it comes to us
when it happens. So like sex
yeah.
before marriage.
Yeah, example as sex before marriage, or
well, I never personally, I never followed tradition. I never followed any cultural traditions, whatever cultural traditions there was. I never followed any. I broke all rules. I never followed any of them. So
okay.
that's me. That's me because I'm a rebel. I'm a rebel, so I just ignored all Chinese cultural traditions that everyone talks about.
He's the guy. He's one of those triad gangs, by the way. You know, he's one of those guys in the triad gang with the choppers. Like, you know, you don't mess with her.
It's, you know what, the thing is, because the cultural traditions hold us back so much. Like, I can't remember what the biggest ones. One of my biggest pet hates was every time someone talked about it, I just got so triggered and annoyed by it. I can't remember what that was now. I'll have to come back to me. Let me think about that one. I have to come back to that one. No, it wasn't about sex. It was just some sort of cultural traditions.
Okay.
I think it was.
I will go back to the conversation I did have with you, sis. Once upon a time sometime in UK in the summer, over red wine, and we were talking about. Yeah, we were talking about you can't talk about relationship on a really deep level anyway, unless you address the issue of culture, right? You can't talk about sex, for example, or the issues around sex without understanding culture, and you really taught me a really powerful lessons during that night, and I totally agree with you, because our beliefs shapes our identity in a way, one way or another, to who we are today, because of our beliefs and how we act. And you're right, and a lot of it's like in Asia, for example, in Chinese culture, it's like even to this day, parents are always like, you don't move in with your boyfriend, right? Fearing the worst case scenario is like basically you don't have sex before marriage. Simple as that. Because there's
So
that.
did you, sorry to stop, bro. So did you actually guys got the same thing, like you don't have sex before marriage, or was that like being told to the girls?
To
the girls.
It's just the girls, yeah. It's just the girls. Look, it might sound funny. It might sound like a joke, and it might sound inappropriate, but I'll share it anyway. I remember one time I were about 16. Okay, 16. I was about 16. My sister was about 14, and one cousin of mine, her name was Helen. And she's very close to us. She's basically my favorite cousin. We respect her, and like she's the only one. She's the only cousin out of all of the cousins that we listen to. She's like a big sister to us. She really cares and loves us. And she took us out one day, and then we were going home in the car. She was driving us home, and we were talking about relationships, obviously, for some reason, for some funny reasons. And she gave us a really funny comment, and it goes like this. I'll share with you guys. She said, "Yeah." She said, "Feng Feng," which is my name in Chinese, right? It's like Feng Feng. It's like, make sure you chirps a lot of girls, okay? Make sure you go out there, chirps a lot of girls, and don't worry about. Yeah, this is my cousin. And it's a female. No. Well, basically, she just basically said, keep your option open, and don't fall for one girl, and just chirps a lot of girls, all right? And then she said, yeah, and then she said to my sister, like,
what chirps mean, Dilara, is date a lot of girls.
Yeah, basically like flirt and chat up a lot of girls. Yeah. Chat a lot. Basically, she meant chat up a lot of girls. Keep your option open. Go for every girl you see, and everything, right? And do whatever you can. And then she said to my sister, "But Anley, make sure you don't let guys church. Make sure you keep your door closed. Like, make sure you secure yourself. Like, only the one is like." And I'm like, what? I'm like, what? You're giving contradicting advice. It's like, what? I was like, yeah, because I care about you guys. I was like, yeah, for you as a man, definitely go for it. For all the girls out there, go for it. But you as a woman, make sure you keep yourself like, only for the man. And I just laughed my head. And that's Chinese people for you. And that is Chinese people. That's culture. That's culture.
Thinking about the bigger picture, okay? If your cousin spoke to every single guy, so all the guys out there talking to girls and stuff like that, and then if your cousin told all the girls not chirp, and then every single this guy will be rejected, okay? And I think that's why it's a problem in dating we have. Have this bunch of some interesting men out there hitting every single girl. And then these girls, like, even if they've been told that no, even if you like the guy, say no, because the more no you say, the more he wants you. I'm trying to do that when I moved to London. It didn't work out for me. So I did say no, and then he actually heard it as no, and then he stopped chasing me. I was really confused because intentionally, like when we say no, like when we throw a tantrum, like when we say no, we're just saying, chase me, follow me, like come out of my window.
All right, to all the Turkish dude out there, I feel you, bro. I feel you. To all the Turkish dude out there, I feel your pain. I can see why all the mixed messages like fucking you up. Yeah.
Okay, this actually leads nicely to this question George has.
Oh gosh.
I've got one. This one was I've seen too many of my friends get so strung up on some woman, myself included in the past, the whole guessing game when you start dating somebody, if someone is stringing you along. Oh man, so my
Mm,
question is, aside from the early signs, because a lot of people tend to be blinded at that point, when should when should someone give up the chase, and when you can detect if someone is being strong or
that's a
not?
very good question.
That's a
That
good.
is a very good question.
That's a bit of a tricky question as well, and the reason being is just purely because the example I just give. Because with sometimes like with some girls in some cultures, like we've been literally like bashed in our head that don't make it easy to you guy. So let them chase, let them prove themselves that if you actually say yes so quickly, they're gonna think that you're easy and they're gonna lose their interest. So in order to keep their interest and do that, even like Stephen Hardy's, the book is Think Like a Man. That's kind of like, that's what he's teaching basically, like don't do that and wait, that kind of thing. So when it comes to the to string them along, what I would say that one thing I always say, regardless like this is dating or not, always watch people that if their actions follow their words. And this applies for dating, this applies for anyone that you have conversation with. So if you are talking to a woman, let's say that you ask them out and then they said yes. And do they show up? And the things that they say yes, and then the things that they tell you about themselves, do they action follow their words? So this is the biggest indication. I always say that. And then also watch, I would say like one of the things that if they think string are they hot and cold, hot and cold, and hot and cold? It's always best to have lukewarm in a way. So either like it would be so he says happened many times and I walked away with no shame. I mean, that's a great thing, because sometimes like you need to walk away. Michael says, I think women prefer humor, strength, humility, humbleness. It's a balance, genuine. I think if you chase too hard, you will turn off a woman. Yes, Michael, for sure. But then again, there are some women that they kind of like. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's a tricky one. I would always go with the culture. But when I say culture, like not just the culture, the country they grow up with, but everything Michael says is true. And I think the biggest thing is that with that question, if you feel like there's something special about her, there's something endearing about her, that you actually connect with her. I will always say also like follow your intuition in the same time, because it's kind of like, no, you can tell if a woman that's stringing you along or just throwing you breadcrumbs. Like the ones, for example, they would only show up at different times, like more towards the weekend, or like what is it they want? Like if you meet with them, do they carry the conversation? Do they still show up? Is it do they have an attitude? So there would be just so many different things, really. It's not just like a one size fit all in this question. But if you find a woman that you really like and you feel like there's a connection, and then that you want to kind of like explore that, I would say just give it a chance. And sometimes the best thing, I can tell you this, sometimes the best thing, be straight up with women. Just say, hey, I really like you. Like, I just want to get to know you. I can't say that I want to make you my girlfriend, but I'm not messing around. I just want to get to know you. I want to hang out with you. I want to spend some time with you. And my intention is actually to take this something else, but I can't tell you that, if you're there or not before I get to know you. Oh, there's something so freaking hot about that. We just go like, oh, hi. Okay then. There's just something. So I would say that even that woman that might be just, you might really like her and you might find her intimidating, I would say don't play around, don't just wait, and don't just be straight up. If your intentions are right, just say to her. And if she can't take your honesty, and if she's still kind of like, after that honesty, she'd be like, oh, prove yourself to me, all that kind of things. It depends what kind of woman you want to have.
Mm.
So that probably would be my advice. I don't know if it was helpful, but I did.
No, I agree with you. This is, I mean, like the way I would approach things, because I'm a guy who doesn't like to waste time with people who flake around with me, right? So if I'm genuinely in love with this woman and I feel like this is the one I want to move forward with, I would just approach her, for example, and say, look, I'm not messing around here. Here's my intention. I want to take you out. I want to make you my girlfriend one day if things goes well, and let's take it from there. You don't have to be so direct in that way, but what I'm trying to say is that's the intention. You want to communicate that, and most of the time that works really well. And if that woman is not interested, she will say she's not interested. So then that stops all of that stringing along BS anyway. I will say one thing though, and that is how to identify a person who is stringing you along, because I've had my fair share of these kind of women in my past as well, and I've noticed the common thread, and that is a woman who strings a man along, you can identify by one trait, and that is she's actually not curious about you.
That's a good
I've
point.
seen that a lot. Okay,
Point.
the women that have strung me along a lot of times in life, they just want me to take them out for a meal or whatever, and they like the look of me, but they don't really want to commit, in that sense. Or some of these women actually have options open, so you're not the only one they're seeing. So you're just one of the options in their book. So she's keeping her options open, and I can tell you that common trait that all these women shares is that she's not curious. If a woman is genuinely interested in a man, she's curious. She will ask you a freaking lot of questions to know you, to get to know your background, what you're about, and all of that stuff.
Yes, but 100% I agree with you. But there is a bit of a worry that we just came across so strong. So we just want to back off a little bit. We don't feel comfortable going that strong, but in a lot of ways, you're right. When we are not messing around, when we are not actually like string along, when they ask us question, that a man asks us question, we actually answer in detail, so open up, and then we ask for a similar question. So we return. So if you ask questions, she just answers and she doesn't ask you any question at all. Yeah, she does definitely string you along. So I don't know if she would be able to be way too comfortable to ask you so many questions. But if you're asking her questions, she would definitely return all your questions because she would like to get to know you as well.
Yeah. That's just something I've noticed anyway, but it's not the be or end all, and there might be exceptions, but that's the common trait I have come across anyway. So I hope that answers George's questions about how to identify stringing along women and all of that stuff.
Yeah, he's precisely. Oh my God, on point, definitely.
Yeah, so so if you take that same woman along for the, I say the second or third day, and she still hasn't asked you any personal question, she's only in it for the meal, bro.
On a date with a guy that I haven't asked personal questions.
Well,
right?
my experience on that one is try and find out who is she influenced by. Like, what kind of friends does she have? And if they have any influence in her decision making. Because that
Bro, how are you gonna find that out without stalking her?
Well, generally, if you've been dating for a while, you get you hang out with your friends.
No. This is not a relationship. This is just in a dating.
But if you start, the thing is, when you start dating someone, if someone is stringing you along, so they must have dated a few times, or at least met a few times.
Okay, by the 4th, 5th day, you're talking.
Yeah, you would have met at least one or two
Poor
friends.
guy, 4th, 5th day, and he's still getting strung along. Oh!
Look, if you were dating, and you were serious about the relationship, you would take or at least meet one of your best friends, right? And go, what do you think? Do we suit? Do we match? Right? So you would get a sense of what type of friends she's hanging around.
That's also a good one, by the way. That you're very right on that, Jono. So what do you think about this? Is actually, from a woman's perspective, if a woman really is stringing a man along, do you think she would even be interested or even want you to meet her personal friends,
Oh,
her
fuck
close
no.
friends? Well, there you go. There's the answer. So you don't even get to meet her friends.
No.
If you don't even get to meet her friends and know her inner circle, you're not in the game, bro.
What that means is there's a clear sign then, right?
If I'm stringing along someone, which I never did, to be honest with you, if I did, that means I'm just looking for attention. And all I want to get attention, like, oh God, like, or I'm potentially trying to get over somebody, or I'm really bored. So that would probably be the only times that I would actually end up like string along someone, or I don't know what I want, but then I just like, okay, it's better than like to be on my own. So I can see that this guy likes me. He's not my type, but he gives me a lot of attention. So I might as well just keep him aside and have that attention. But introduce him to my friends? No.
There we go. There we go.
So you see what I mean? Like, if you are serious, you would meet a few friends at least, and and also when you meet the few friends, you would get a sense of idea what type of friends they are and what kind of influence they have on your relationship or dating, being strung along, kind of thing.
Yeah. So there are the clues. Those are the clues, guys. George, that's the answer to your question. That's how you know. You never get introduced to the friends. She's not curious about you. Bro, the clues are out there. So tell me more about your family and your friends. Yeah, let's talk about something else.
Yeah. Let's talk about that handbag that I saw the other day.
Yeah, let's talk about the red wine we were gonna order.
How about that meal?
Oh gosh, there we go. The clues are always out there.
This date going to dinner thing, I just find it really interesting. Like, if you speak to somebody for a while, and then you feel really connected, like you're on WhatsApp, you message, you spoke on the phone, maybe you did the FaceTime and stuff. I get the fact that you can meet with somebody that you will go for a dinner. But if you're not like really connecting with someone, I never want to, or I always say to my clients as well, just be cautious about going to dinner because you're stuck, man. Like, you have to sit there for 3-course meal. But if you go for a coffee, if you go for a drink, that you always have a way out. But if you go for a dinner, like, you're trapped. So like, first date, like, if anyone goes out for the first time for a dinner, that should be like someone special that you really want to get to know, you really want to connect, because otherwise you're just gonna like have a really boring and long dinner.
What if, this is just myself, okay, sis, if I was to be honest with you, what if you're someone like me who genuinely don't like to spend that much time on texting, chatting on social media or on the phone, and I'm someone who actually, I'm more intuitive in the sense that I prefer to actually, look, even if I'm meeting you for the first time, I would like to get a good first impression on you physically. So I like to meet up, have dinner, whether it's dinner or coffee, and I just really want to get to know you first.
Do you know what, bro? If you say that in a text directly, I would be there.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, but that's a different way of doing it. Do you see what I'm saying? You're explaining who you are. You're saying,
right.
You're just kind of like eliminating to misunderstanding. Because remember, you know yourself, you're not a text guy, but this girl is a stranger. She doesn't know you. With you, but she doesn't know if you like her, if you don't, because she doesn't hear from you, but then she gets text messages from the other guys. She has no idea you are one of those guys that are not into text. But if you say what you said to me, say straight away, look, I'm not a text guy, I'm not into that, but I'm quite intuitive, and I just feel like I really want to get to know you. So I would love you to take you to dinner, and that's kind of like we can actually get to know each other and reconnect. So then she know you're not a text guy. So when you don't message her, she's not going to end up making assumptions why you're not doing that. Because
Okay.
you don't say, she doesn't have any data. She doesn't, because you're a stranger. You're not look for her. You're just a stranger. Look from, I don't know, Tinder or Hinge or whatever the app you are in. That means nothing to her.
That's very solid advice, guys. Can take note of that and use that next time.
It's taking notes ready. Be like, I bet to stop texting. Just tell them directly what I want.
That was a great advice. Leave me writing notes. Like, I need this too. Can you just listen to her?
Oh gosh.
Laura says that she's late for the party. Did I Mr. Juicy?
Yeah.
Talk about sex.
Carol, you missed a lot of banter. You missed a lot of good love. You came late to the party, so you missed a lot of love.
Cara, like, I didn't know that with it.
Wow, there's so many comments. Where are we? Where am I?
So Wong says, let's talk about the dress. My response, yeah, that's cool. Let's talk about that. Turbo her. What? Look, I have no idea what that means.
Oh, Cara, I'm late to the party. Let me see juicy stuff.
Look, you pulled man. Don't know what that means either. Michael says, so I'm not into text, but enjoy the odd bit of sex. Well, if that floats your boat, like, I think his honesty is always best policy anyway. Maybe she's into the same thing. So no point to take her out someone, like pay for a dinner and stuff like that if that person is like no go.
So here we are. So I don't mind dinner. Although in LA, men have a sense of reciprocity. Can't even say the bloody word. Sound drunk. Usually he wants something in exchange for a meal.
You're laughing, but that's true. She has a point.
Yeah, it's true. Usually he wants something in exchange for a meal. That's why women kind of get uncomfortable with a dinner date too soon. Although some women require dinner because they don't want a dusty. Well, yeah, dusty means, I think, is like, she means like somebody is broke. Yes, there are some women that they say that, oh, like, I want, you're going to take me out to dinner. Like, I wouldn't go for a drink or for coffee. And then like they just want guy to spend. And the mentality is that for that, if he doesn't want to spend enough money for her, and then that means that he doesn't want to invest. Yeah. So yes, I totally get what Cara says. And I think it's like the whole dating in LA, my understanding is it's quite challenging because there's so many options. And I mean, we think it's challenging in London anyway. Or the big cities, but my understanding is LA is actually quite hard because so many options. So most single people think that, okay, especially men, it's like, okay, why would I settle to this one? So I can go and meet with somebody else and instead of like settling down. It's too many options sometimes. It's not the best. Tony Robbins was saying that 1 is not an option, 2 is something, and 3 is a choice. So I think that is true, because if it's so many options, that's not even an option, and then we just get a little bit overwhelmed. And I think this is what's happening in our dating world as well, because why would I settle just in case if there's somebody else is going to be better? What if? That goes back to last week, we were talking about it. That is like making a conscious choice and say, yes, there might be some more like incredibly amazing people. Definitely there might be out there, no doubt about it. But I choose to commit to this person 100% and then just want to see where it goes. Oh, okay. So this is fun. What's going on there?
Well, Cara, you will be taken out in LA.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm gonna share something here. I mean, a real gentleman anyway, who's interested in you, won't have that kind of expectation. I mean, if sex doesn't happen, it's not gonna be a big deal for him. And this is just my pennies of opinions. So, if a guy really is just taking you out because he expecting sex, then he's not really the kind of guy you really want to be, together with anyway. So feel no guilt. Just have the meal and go away. Just just say thanks for the meal. Bye bye.
But I think what Cara says that it is uncomfortable for a woman to actually show up to that dinner because that the only reason they take you out because they want something in return, and she's a woman of integrity, my understanding. So that's kind of this very uncomfortable for her to go because, I mean, she might want to have sex, but she might not want to have sex. She doesn't know. Like, she's just going for dinner, but she doesn't want to feel like, okay, I fed you now. Like, now you fed me. That's a bit. That's very premature. That's kind of, I don't know. I always said, how old are we?
But sis, you won't But isn't that that's the paradox we're talking about, right? That's the problem, because then, it's something that you won't really know until after the meal, right? It's not something you can, unless you're so intuitive and you can tune into it and everything, and it's like, nah, this guy's just in it for sex. But it's something that you really don't know until you had that dinner. So I get what you mean to say that you feel uncomfortable. I mean, is there a way around the uncomfortability?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it really depends. That I always said that it's very challenging because you never know, like, one-to-one conversations. I think a lot of the time the consistency, the depth of the messages, what that person message. So many guys, I'm sorry, no offense to anyone, but the social media makes things so much easier for a lot of guys. And I don't want to attack guys. I know that us girls is as responsible as we are, but generally guys finding like, messaging on Instagram or Facebook, it's so much easier just because they they see the girls' stories or photos and things like that, watching the things like that. That's not connection. Like, did you actually message her? When was the last time you messaged her or WhatsApp her? When was the last time you pick up the phone and had a conversation? Do you know? I always say that one of the biggest things is that, do you know that person's day, like what's happening in their life, which they don't share on social media? If somebody shares everything on social media, if you know what's happening in their life, I'm so sorry to say that you're not special. But if you end up like getting to know that person, and if that person share with you that the things they don't share on social media, they share there with you intentionally, like every day, even if they go to a coffee shop. I'm just giving silly examples, but it's quite endearing sometimes, the silly ones. If they take a photo of like their breakfast and say that, this is what it's like, it's my favorite, like hopefully one day I can cook for you. Something like that. Do you know what I mean? It's like a little bit flirtatious, a little bit connection, and it's giving me a little bit more. Or they say that, okay, like a business meeting, just take some photos, some days, and leave voicemails, something. So then it's about building something that you don't share it with somebody else, but that you bring that person into your life. That means that you kind of like opening your life a little bit. That's where you feel that there's something special here. There's a connection. But if the dude is all he does, like follows you on social media, watches your stories or likes and drops you a couple of messages because you have nice photos, that guy, I don't know if he's going to be your soulmate. I really don't know, regardless he takes you to dinner or not. Because this applies for the girls as well. If somebody really likes you, they will make sure you do. They will do things that to involve you in their life, and not necessarily share with everybody else. Does that help, bro?
Does that help, guys? Yes, it helps. Yeah, you've given me clarity. As long as it gives the audience clarity.
I was like, you asked that question, so does it help you? More like.
I was only asking on behalf of the audience. Yeah, keep drinking.
The audience didn't even ask on behalf of the audience.
Oh my gosh. So, by the way, guys, if any one of you got any random questions you want to throw out there for Dilara or any one of us, just let us know, okay? Oh.
Tara is asking, maybe what you're identifying is how difficult it is to go from A to Z. People jump between the sheets too soon. What are the steps in between? Okay, so I'm just going to answer like very bluntly because I don't know if there's any steps or not. We didn't have any steps in between my ex-husband. Like, we connected and we kind of did what you just refer, like people jumping between the sheets too soon, and an amazing 3 days, and we didn't even date. Like, I moved in and we lived together for a year and a half. Like I said, we didn't even date. Like, that was it. Like, I just literally moved in with his permission, I swear. And then like we lived together like a year and a half, and then we got married. So because that was real, that didn't make any difference. So at different times that, you know, I did the same thing, it just went horribly wrong because he wasn't the right person. So I don't know if there's any saying that this is the right time to do this. This is the wrong time to do this. My suggestion, this might not be what you're looking for, Cara, but this is basic core of my work. Don't apply other people's tactics or advice if it does not feel true to you. If you really like this guy and if you want to jump in between the sheets, do that, but do it without any expectations. Do it without any kind of attachment. Don't do it with any kind of worry. Do it because you really want to do it. And if he doesn't call you again, you'll totally be cool with that. But the problem starts with a lot of the time. And no matter how you have the hearts for this guy, and it's like you can feel the connection, but you know in your heart, if you do that, you're going to attach to this guy. Don't do it. Just honor your feelings, honor your intuition, honor what feels true to you. Because a lot of the time that people think, okay, I should wait 3 months to sleep with. You can wait 6 months. If that guy, all he wants sex with you, he still will disappear on you. But if the guy really want to be with you, you can sleep with him like 6 hours after. He's not going to let you go. He's definitely not letting you go. He's not going to think that, oh, this girl sleep with me 6 hours later, so that means she's that. She's not going to do that. So, but this is not about him. This is about you. So I would always say, honor your truth. If you really like somebody, like you said, that if you want to jump between the sheets, do that. But say to yourself, you know what? I just want to do it. Not because like I want to make him my boyfriend, not because, you know, I'm just going to feel so tense, so emotionally attached to him. If nothing comes out of it, I just want to be with that guy. In my experience and with my clients as well, when you do it from that kind of, I call it weirdly like alignment, that's where you honor your truth. You never experience this disappointment. But I really don't have any date. I don't have like, if you do this like in 3 months, it would happen, 6 months, do that. Just whenever you feel comfortable with that guy. That's what I would say. And whenever that you're not going to be heartbroken or disappointed, if he's not there next day. So I don't know, boys, men,
well, if you have no expectation, you have no disappointments.
Yeah, and in my experience, guys do respond that so much better. And
yeah,
that's not a strategy, by the way, that Cara. This is not a strategy. This is. I'm just saying that when guys honor that truth, it's just like in my experience and with a lot of clients that when they honor their truth, I think guys that feel that this is woman's truth, so they kind of energetically they respond that in a more, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, probably healthier way. If you
Well,
want,
it's whatever feels right. If it feels right, it feels right. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Simple as that, really. Well, it's simple, but it's not easy.
Yeah, I mean, look, from a man's perspective, I will say one thing, and that is I totally agree with what Dilara just said, simply because of one thing. Men has a tendency towards honoring, like admiring women, not even women, just men, women, human beings as general, right? As men, we have a tendency towards admiring those who we respect first. And when you're coming from that kind of place, we respect women. Like when, like for example, in that case scenario, if a woman really was having no expectation and just say, look, I'm just gonna jump between the sheets with this guy because let's have a good time, no expectation, no attachments, no strings attached, and the guy finds out, my God, she's real deal. It's like I respect her for that. And actually, what tends to happen, not always the case, depending on the guy, of course, but most guys will feel like, you know what, this woman, I respect her, I like her. And we tend to grow a bit more affectionate towards that woman. And yes, coming from personal experience too, yes, there is a particular woman that has been in this situation with me, and I kind of grew feelings for her over time. But then she got a boyfriend. And I was like, God damn it, I got in there too late. But there you go. So it does happen. So but it really just shows that when you jump into that kind of situation with the mindset of no expectation, I'm doing it because I want to do it, not because of anything, not because I want him to be my boyfriend or anything like that. You just want to have a good time and everything else. Men would really, the guy will really respect you for that, and with respect comes with affection.
yeah, because like going back to last week, we were talking about it. Like in my experience, like any guy that I ever worked with, them a lot of the time they say like they love it when women give them freedom, they give space, because then they want to get closer more. You know, like Love Line says, it's a very good point. He says it's difficult because as soon as a woman sleeps with a man, she instantly feels attached. Not with every man, but some men, that's true. But we don't feel that way with every man. She instantly feels attached because, yes, chemically we do actually release different hormones. So for guys, for example, after sex, guys do relax and they want space. Us women, we actually like after sex, we just want to connect, and that's why like we want to go for hugs, and guys want a little bit more space. So because we end up like releasing different kind of chemical hormones, and this is science as well. This is not something that I'm making up. This is not even about the emotions. It's just completely just about the hormones that we release. But then again, like a lot of men actually do like cuddling or hugging and things like that after sex as well. So it's very hard to say that one size fit all. That's why I always do. I am quite cautious to generalize things. This is why it's important to take time to test them. Watch his actions and never his words. This is something I said that, and this applies for women as well. Anyone, always watch people's actions than their words. Ask him what stage he is in life in regards to commitments. Is he emotionally available? I don't know if guys would give that much, you know, like before they in a relationship. I think
this one's a
most
hard
guys
one because,
won't know.
Yeah, most guys won't know at this
won't know.
stage. Are they emotionally available? This is for some people. This emotionally available is very difficult for those that don't really know themselves.
Yeah.
And most people still don't know themselves.
Yeah.
So these guys, this person must be very self-aware if he already knows he is emotionally available. Obviously, depending on where he is, in which stage he is in life.
Exactly. If any woman wants to ask a man, it's like the question of, are you emotionally available? The man will be like, huh?
Yeah, exactly. It would be like,
what are you talking about? What's that?
I think I love where love comes from, and I love her name as well. Like I can see the things that she says, figure out his style of attachment, ask him about his relationship with his mother. How did she love him? I mean, I don't know how many, like, I don't know from the dating side this would be quite comfortable conversation to have. If a relationship moved from friendship, I think it probably would be different. But in my experience, at least, unless these guys, like conscious guys, done a lot of work, I think most guys don't even know what attachment style is. I think they would be like what you're talking about, and they might feel like they've been tested. And I don't know. I think for some guys, yes, but not sure it would be for a lot of guys. So I'm not very sure about that. It's just something, I guess, like you can experiment it. Cara says, do you feel women have been pressurized to date like a man these days? Yes, Cara, I do. And that's why I think a lot of men are confused. There's a lot of women are confused as well, because we have been told in our childhood to be emotional, sensitive, and caring, nurturing, motherly, all that kind of stuff. And guys have been told, man up, be strong, don't cry, be cool, and those kind of things. So when it comes to the dating, us women just generally, not everyone, but we just want to kind of like have that emotional connection. We want to have this conversation. We want to get to know the person. But some guys end up just want to be like no trouble chick, and with their words like cool chick. And that chick, it's before you joined, Cara, I was actually sharing with Jono and Ik. It's almost like, not almost, like pretty much the same. Guys want to date with guys, like not guys want to date with guys, but guys want to date women with like a guy. No, listen. Guys want to date with women who got like men mentality, like be cool, like not very emotional, not want to have these conversations, definitely not want to talk about attachment styles and those kind of things. And women want to date with men like women, as in that. So how do you feel now? How do you see yourself in the future? Like, what is it going through in your head? To have those like a lot of connections and conversation, which makes it really tricky. So answer to your question, Cara, yes, I do feel like women have been pressurized to date like a man these days. Because sometimes like it just, some men find it too much, but then, I don't know if it's a good idea to pursue someone that who finds you too much. So this is a very thin line, and as I always say, that there's not one size fit all. It's very. Love says men fall in love through accidents. I'm not sure about that. Do you guys?
It's never by accident. No, it's never by accident. No, it might seem like an accident to you, but it's never by accident. No.
What about this one?
Then?
What was the question?
No, I'm just asking. So you guys don't fall in love through accidents. So I'm asking, how do you guys fall in love with? Oh my God, I'm putting Ik on the spot, bro. Open
okay,
up.
let me answer while Ik is thinking, because he'll.
Yeah, Jono, you go for this. You go for it.
Open that bottle of wine, bro.
Yeah.
I might need to crack this bottle of wine open,
Like Ik's in trouble here, so let me step in and help him out, right?
Oh gosh.
So how do I fall in love, or how did I take what took me to fall in love, right?
Yeah.
Time, connection, respect, and just the knowing each other.
Something has to be built, right? Something.
Yeah, it takes time. It's a lot
of time and energy. Yeah.
It's a lot of time testing obstacles, challenges that we go through together, but also how we deal with it as a couple, as a in a relationship. How we deal with situations when we travel, how we are when we travel together, how we are when we wait in queues for long hours, how we deal with humidity and uncomfortable situations during travel. habits, how we deal with each other's habits. So it takes time. Like it takes time to accept each other's flaws, understand each other's flaws, know each other's flaws. But it's a lot of connection and build. It's just building on one thing after another, really.
So what Lian said here is that what I meant by accident is he goes out looking for sex, but next minute he's fallen, as in accident. So
I don't think.
I mean, look, I mean that might be true for some people, right? That might be actually true for some men. I would say this though. This only happens to men who are actually clueless about what the fuck they want in life to begin with. They're pretty much clueless. These are men who don't really know what they want from a woman, not just from a woman, but men who don't really know what they want in life. So yes, it does happen by accident, but it's not always the case, and it really depends. Like I say, it really depends on what kind of man you want. Anyway, forget about a man falling in love with you. What kind of man do you want, right? That's the question I always ask. You know, do you want a man who accidentally falls in love with you, or do you want a man who knows what he wants and he knows that you are the one that he wants? You know, there's a clear big difference right there. But yeah, I mean, men do fall in love accidentally, like you say. It does happen. It has never happened with me. Never happened with Jono. But I can't say that it's never happened for all men, right? So yeah. So.
And I love the fact how Ick just decided to skip that question Dilara asked and like, don't think I just ignored that question for you, bro. Like, you dodged the bullet completely.
This is my genius, you know. Like, yeah, next question. Let's move on there now.
You like moved straight on to the question. I was like, you haven't even answered the first one yet.
I think Jono, because I've been tricky for a couple of months and away from Egg, he just forgot what I'm like. So okay, she's not sitting into her.
Okay, do we leave him off the
question?
Yeah, I saw Michael's question. Do we address Michael's question, or do we let Ick finish it first?
If he will.
Are you willing to go there, bro? Or do you need to bust out the wine?
Like he's not even listening.
Yeah, I know. He's pretending not to listen. He's like, I can't hear what
was the question? What was the question?
Go to Michael's question.
Okay, we'll get to Michael's question then.
So you want to read it? Do you want me to read it?
Do you think apps like Tinder have killed off courtship and natural love growth? I wish I had Tinder when I was younger, but only the boy in me. The man in me says it's ruining the connection. For me, absolutely. Apps are killing natural love growth. I mean, there's no connection, like you said, Michael. There's no connect. It's ruining the connection. Like, you're ruining the dating times, the times where you get to physically hold hands and date, flirt with each other in real life as human beings, as natural, physical attraction and connection. You just don't develop that through apps. Like, yeah, you can do sexting and all that crap, but you get that little, dopamine fix, and then that's all over. And there's no attachment to it. There's no connection being built. And that's the same love growth, natural love growth that I was talking about Dilara, right? There's no accident in falling in love. It takes time. It's nurturing. It takes the time to understand each other, to accept each other. That's love growth. That's the love growth that takes time. And that's one of the ways that, me and my fiance has been dating, been together for about 10 plus years now. It's through natural love growth.
So,
Ick, you're up.
Sorry. Ick, you go ahead.
Since he's an app man.
That did sound wrong, though, isn't it?
He's been there.
I've had a few dates, thanks to the dating apps. you know, not to mention any of them in particular, but I've managed to get a few dates. So I will say that I agree with Jono that actually, yes, these apps will kill off the courtship and all of that, and it kills off the magic. To be honest with you, I think it actually kills off the magic, because my first love, my second love, my third love, my fourth love, my fifth love has never been through any of these dating apps, because the magic was in the moment of me meeting someone. You know, I've been blessed. You know, you could call it blessings or you could call it misfortunate, depending on how you see it. I'm one of those guys who actually have experienced love at first sight. It was my very, very first love. It didn't work out because of long distance, but there was that magical moment there. You know, I was really curious. Like I said, if a man's not curious about you, he's not in it. He's not in the game. I was really curious and I really wanted to get to know that girl. So I would only say this: with the app, it kills off that magic, because you kind of like, okay, you check this chick out, you like the look on her face, you check out her profile, kind of fits my requirement, like a CV. It's like, right, you want to have a date, you know, it kills off that magic. But I will say it does bring in opportunities, because, like, for example, you probably would never have met her without the app anyway. So, you know, there's pros and cons. So that's all I could say about the apps. But whether it kills off courtship or not, that's on you, bro. That's on you, whether or not you're willing to take that girl out on a date and then take things further, and then you know, that's like I mentioned earlier on with Dilara, like in earlier on in the live chat show. I'm one of those guys who, I don't like texting. I just don't like talking and getting to know one another through text. That doesn't work for me. You know, the moment I like someone, I'm like, look, let's go for a coffee. Let's get to know one another. Let's see if we connect from that meeting, that first initial meeting. You know, and if it doesn't work, great. We don't have to waste time trying to text one another and all of that BS. You know, I will text you if after that meeting I feel like, yeah, we've got something going here, then we can carry on and have the second day and we can carry on texting from there on. You know, but that's just how I work anyway. You know, I'm not speaking for most men, but I absolutely agree with Jono on that. In that comment, is that yes, I do believe it kills courtship, but only if you allow it to. But I do believe it takes the magic away. That's what I believe in. It takes that magic of me telling my boys like, oh, bro, Jono, you won't believe it, but I just met this girl by accident on the bus stop and she's gorgeous. And I'm like, I just had to ask her out. You know, it takes that fun away. It takes that magic away. But hey, you know, everyone to their own. Yeah, drink that red wine. Everyone to their own.
I have a slightly view on this one, because I think if we probably all, one way or another, watch the social, I think it's The Social Dilemma, isn't it, on Netflix?
I haven't watched that yet, but I heard it's really good to watch.
Yeah, so it's all about, you know, how our information is being used and how our news social media feed is being fed to us and how we've manipulated and everything else. So for me, because I always talk about consciousness, no matter what it is, it's not what we're using, it's how we're using and the intention behind it. So I personally don't write off the apps, regardless it's Tinder, Hinge, Bumble, whatever, all the other millions of thousands of ones. But I always say that, what's your intention? Are you there because you're bored and you're going to mess around and right, left, and unless that the stars is aligned, every fucking thing is aligned in the universe, that, you know, you're going to come across with your love of your life, most probably because you're bored and you're not really looking for something, you won't find anything. So technology can be incredibly toxic, incredibly damaging, but if you use it with the right intentions in the right way, technology can connect us, technology can save lives, and technology can do incredible things. So I always see that when it comes to the dating app as well. What's the intention behind it while you use it, and what is it using it for? Because the truth is, there are a lot of people that actually meeting with people, they get married, you know, they have babies, and they have amazing partners. They really do you feel like they found their partner? So I think that I will go back to that intention, and then you need to sort it. But if you just go there, okay, right now I'm bored, it's Friday night, I'm on Facebook Live, but fuck it, nobody will know anyway, I'm just drinking red wine, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. I don't know what would come up from that, but if I am intentional, and if I know that, you know, I'm going to give it a healthy chance, I don't know if it would be completely right off. I don't know, because I mean, it does work for a lot of people, and there are a lot of people who work incredibly long hours, and they really struggle to go out and socialize and connect with people. I know that from my clients, and these guys are like hot, they're smart, they're rich, they're successful, they have everything, but man, they're working like ridiculous hours. So for them, like, it's just, there's no chance they're going to be able to meet with girls like in person, unless once in a while that they've been taking a night off or a weekend off, and then they've been invited to a party, and then she's going to be there. So there are incredible guys there as well. But I always say that when we do that, intention is one. Second is like not really attaching to outcome and suffocating what's there, suffocating the energy. Just be open to it. Just be open to incredible men, incredible women. You can meet there. And I don't know if magic happens or if we create magic, guys. I don't know. So in my life that I know magic doesn't happen, I create magic. So dating apps don't create magic for me at all. Like, don't give me the magic. But I do create magic with them. I just meet, you know, I personally meet great guys, and I'm not married or I'm not that, but hey man, like, they're awesome, they're really cool. We might not be for each other, but no attachment to it, but it doesn't take it away that these guys are super cool. And as and when they meet with the right woman, they're going to be incredible partners, no doubt about it. It might not be me, but that doesn't take away how cool and fantastic they are. So just a case of like, I mean, my magic, do you know what I mean? I create my magic with the right person, and they create the magic that they met with. So I personally wouldn't write it off. Am I a big fan? I don't know. It's tiring, for sure. I know many of my clients, they're complaining about it as well. It can be draining because it's difficult to figure out what people's intentions are. But everything else, with the right intention, it's a tool. It's a tool to go to a party. It's a tool to ask your friends to introduce you to someone. It's a tool. It depends on how you want to use it.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that, sis. I love that. That's a beautiful answer.
Welcome, bro.
So this one for me, is it? So love is familiarity, teamwork, problem solving for Jono. Yeah, I mean, that works for me because I guess from my nature, I'm a problem solver, and I love teamwork and the whole culture of connection, but mainly synergy. All about that familiarity, teamwork, problem solving was all about synergy. Connection and synergy. Like, how well do we connect with each other? How well do we work together? And if you're spending time with your other half most of your life, or you plan to anyway, then yeah, you better be good at problem solving together, because you've got a lifetime ahead of you two to do so. And if you're so committed to each other, then yeah, you know, you will have loads of many obstacles in your life, and you will have to overcome it together. And you know, you can't just do it by yourself. There's no point otherwise. It's not a partnership anymore. Same with business, right? Same with relationships. For me, it's that synergy, just working together well, and be able to overcome any obstacle that gets thrown your way.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to write the comments, Jono, or do you want to, how you want to do it? Like, do you want to just, because Cara has a question, so do you want to read Michael's comments? Love's comments?
Love Leanne would love to be on our live. Should we get her on?
Why not?
Okay, let me ping her. If she's still around, let me drop her a link. If you are free to come join us.
So for those of you who are listening, if any of you would love to join us to have a chat, you got to make sure you have a camera, webcam ready, and a microphone ready. And, you know, you're not in your PJs. I'm joking. I'm only joking. You can be in your PJs if you want to. We don't judge here. But yeah, if anyone wants to be invited as a guest,
live on
just
Twitch,
let us
YouTube,
know. We'll ping you in.
This is live on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. So just so you know.
Oh gosh.
So
just so you know, look, this is the one thing that we love about this chat show is informal, it's casual, it's like, you know, we love to banter. This is the only reason why I'm here, guys. I'm here for entertainment. I'm here to provide you guys some real banter and entertainment. Dilara is the one that's giving you valuable content, okay?
We all three of us.
So,
is that right? Or
Ghost Floof from Twitch.
What's
Twitch?
Twitch is the gaming stream site.
Oh.
So I'm streaming on. That's why I said I'm streaming on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook.
Am I making my age obvious now? Sorry.
It's just another platform, sis.
Yeah, so he said, yeah, we'll agree that texting can take magic away, but texting can also add magic and help you to get to know someone much faster than in person. Never seen anyone regret learning charisma through technology. Absolutely. You've just summarized exactly what Dilara said right there.
Isn't it?
Beautiful. Yeah, that's the same thing, which, you know, so many gamers out there, they just sit and play till like 5, 6 a.m. in the morning. When these guys going to go out and meet with the girls? Are they going to just meet with the bus stop? But you met with yours 10 years ago. Even there. So that's what I'm saying. Those guys, like, they don't hang out with people. So if these apps are not cool, you just kind of like say to all the nerds are fucking awesome. I want to say that. You know, what all these guys going to do? That this question for me, I have.
You gamers just got told. you gamers just got told. Put that phone down and go and meet some kills right now.
Step away from your computer right now.
Step away from your keyboard and mouse and go out there and get some catcalling. I don't know. Oh my god.
Okay, so Cara, has it been difficult for you to date during the pandemic, or are you still using dating apps?
Well, I'm currently in Turkey, so and I am not interested in dating apps in Turkey. I'm not gonna lie. But during the pandemic, in the midst of it, yeah, I was still in dating apps. Not gonna lie, Cara, I met with great guys. We obviously, because of the pandemic, we haven't had a chance to meet, but I noticed the difference that during the pandemic, guys seem more open and honest. This is the same thing. Like my clients gave me feedback as well, like in their dating lives also. It seems like a lot of guys were like, oh, actually, like, I'm thinking about what I want in my life. I actually want a relationship. I want a commitment. I just realized that, you know, just being on my own all this time, I realized my priorities. Some guys is like, I realized that I've been prioritizing my work too much, and I realized that this is time. So I think, like, in pandemic, as difficult as it has been, for people who actually did take the time rather than panicking, take a step back and look what they want. My experience and my clients' experiences was pretty much the same. As women, we find men more like they want something, but of course you always find men like looking for different things, but it's always the same. You find it in the clubs as well, you find it in the bus stop, like not alone in a dating app. But yeah, I mean, I had great experiences. Like I said, I don't know if anything comes out of it from not, but I would love to keep these guys in my life because I think they're incredibly cool, and I feel like this just make this weird closeness, which it's very difficult to explain because we haven't met, we haven't had a date, because we haven't had a chance, but we kind of like got close, bizarrely enough, but then we're not. But then it's kind of like it's nice. So it's yeah. I mean, I find it that hasn't been that difficult for me. Really, it has been what it has been to obviously meet with people in person. But then I feel like that just gave an opportunity to get to know men in a deeper level. And if it wasn't for that, I don't think they would open up that much, in all honesty.
So my experience with my friends is they were craving for connection. So they're more willing to be vulnerable. They're more willing to be open, and they took more time to self-reflect. Like everything slowed down for them. You know, they used to do the hustle and bustle through the rush hours, you know, and for work and going to the train and rushing around. But now they've actually had the time to slow down for what, 7 months now, 8 months now, to slow down and really think about
right down
really what they want in life. So now it's like, yeah, they're more open to being vulnerable and open and thinking about what they really want in their lives. So I got another question from YouTube from J-Core. Does a feminine man still like to lead and chase, or will they think girls not interested if she leaves it to them?
Does a feminine man still like to lead and chase, or will they think a girl's not interested if she leaves it to them?
I'm assuming this is asked by a female. A female is asking this.
Don't know. Just
it sounds like a female's trying to understand a feminine man's point of view.
Still like to lead,
yeah,
and chase, or will they think a girl's not interested if she leaves it to them? Feminine men are very. I don't think they're direct, are they?
I mean, feminine men, the challenge is like they feminine men is a lot of the time they have grown up with incredibly strong female figures. Either like even if they had father, mother was so strong, so masculine that father didn't have any chance, so he stepped into his feminine. So generally, as always, but I always say generally, not always, feminine men, it comes from a very, very strong feminine female figures. So they kind of like they haven't been exposed to understanding what a healthy masculine, healthy man looks like. So they only think they have that incredibly strong woman and get shit done and strong and all that kind of stuff. And then they haven't found almost their voice. They haven't found their strength. And then they kind of like, they're amazing because it helps them to connect with women because they've been surrounded with a lot of women, so they can connect with women, they can understand women. But the challenge is that they don't necessarily have a leadership or taking a lead or chasing characters. And general, not all, scenario is feminine men a lot of the time go to masculine women because it makes them feel comfortable. It's like that's the comfort zone. That's like it's like home for them. That's what they know, and they don't have the traits necessarily to lead, to chase women. So that would be my answer to, or will they think girls are not interested if she leaves it to them? there is a chance. I mean, generally feminine men can be a little bit timid as well.
Very shy and less confrontational as well.
Yeah, so they kind of like, they're quite cautious to reach out. Even if they do, they could only do it once and they wouldn't actually repeat it, because they don't do very well with rejection. And they literally don't want to kind of piss a woman off with the most honest words, probably. So it works well for them that if they end up being with masculine women, so then the sexual polarity, it can be created, because if they end up with another feminine woman, sexual polarity would be something to it would take time to build, because feminine, it's difficult. Normally feminine, masculine, like whatever the actually the gender is.
So we've got Lynn. We've got Lynn waiting in the green room, so we could bring her on now.
Oh.
So I just wanted to answer those questions before we bring Lynn on. So
Michael says, ruthless Dilara Tetik, gamers needed to hear the truth.
Hi, Lynn.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. You guys are doing an amazing job. And
well, we're just messing around, having a chat, really.
I absolutely love the topic. So yes, it's a pleasure to be here.
So what are your thoughts about this question then, which Decor 1984 asked? It's in regards to feminine men. Do they still like to lead and chase, or will they think a girl not interested if she leaves? What are your thoughts about this femininity, masculinity?
Well, it's how you defined a feminine man, because, you know, like, is he a submissive man, or is he feminine as in he's very soft and gentle with the way he moves? Because from my experience, I mean, from my experience as a strong, like, confident woman, I prefer a guy to be slightly, like, gentle and slightly, if you want to call it feminine, I wouldn't call it feminine, in my opinion. This is just my opinion. I'll call it more submissive. Like, they like to take the back seat. They don't mind the woman to lead. It doesn't make them to be weak. They're not weak people.
Attentive.
They just like to be a bit more reserved.
They're more attentive.
My experience, yes. Just because they're a bit reserved and they're a bit more gentle with their approach, that does not make them to be weak. It just means that they prefer to, you know, again, it goes back to childhood. This is just, you know, it's my opinion. If they've been raised by a very strong woman, for example, they kind of like, they're more accustomed to that idea. So then, you know, and if they do have that kind of like more softer style of like personality, then of course they would want to look for a woman that's very similar to their mother. So if she's a dominance, he's more prone to want to be with a strong leading woman. I mean, I prefer a guy to be a bit more feminine, a bit more, you know, submissive, but that's just like, you know, what I like. Because again, like you were saying earlier, you cannot have like, you know, dominance and dominance. It doesn't really work so well, you know, in the relationship kind of like dynamics.
Yeah, so very compatible, isn't it? I think what adding to that, Cara says something beautiful that like adds what you're saying, Lynn. I like sensitive men, but not feminine men. There's a difference. So I think we're just actually differentiating that now, like being sensitive and being feminine is it's different in that aspect. So and again, I think this is where that's some of us like really like feminine men per se, like sensitive the ones that they feel more comfortable to express their feelings, and they're okay with being vulnerable. They're okay to talk, because then that's where we create the connection there. But if it's feminine in an aspect that to kind of like to be a little bit timid and a little bit in that, it really kind of like depends of the woman that what they're looking for. So I get.
So Kara also adds a feminine man who requires me to man up automatically puts me in a difficult role. Relationships are all about roles. What do you think?
Lynn?
Definitely. I feel that in a relationship, there's always going to be one that's more dominant and there's always going to be one that's slightly more submissive. It needs to have a balance of the yin and yang. You can't, in my opinion, you can't have, two strong individuals together. It works short term, but in terms of long terms and marriage, I think too much fire will burn the house down is my opinion. So I always think in a healthy situation, it's always good. For example, if a man is very dominant and he's very, very alpha, he will be best suited to be with a more sort of like submissive kind of like woman that would allow him to be this alpha. Because if he's an alpha and he's with an alpha woman, for example, in maybe not,
I don't want to be in the same room as them.
Maybe not soon, but later the house will burn down because there is no winning. Whereas with a more, I don't like to use the word feminine because it makes them feel very girly. I mean, I prefer guys, if you want to call it feminine, let's just use that word. But I like guys that are slightly more in touch with their feminine side because they're able to just sit back and absorb. They have this ability to listen. Far much better than these alphas, because alphas, in my opinion, tend to like to dismiss a lot of things. They like to be in charge. They want to dismiss your thoughts and your feelings, and they don't really want to put your needs first. This is just my opinion, by the way, and my experience. Whereas more feminine guys, they don't mind to allow you to win the conversation, whilst they take the time to be, they take the time to go. Think about it, and they'll come back at a more like appropriate time when you've calmed yourself down, and then he's able to come back, in with the approach to talk to you and to listen to you. And I think a lot of women, we need this. Whereas with alphas, they tend to dismiss a lot of stuff. It's their way or no way, and they're in charge, and that's the end of. And I find that, I don't know, for me, it doesn't work. I don't know for some women. Some women absolutely love being submissive, by the way. They like a man to dismiss them. They like a man to put them in their place. They like a man to be in charge. A lot of women love this. Vast majority of women do love this. But with the generation, with this 21st century, I think women are starting to come out of their shell a bit more, But yeah.
I think there's aspects of the toxic masculinity as well, because alpha, like, it's actually like alphas are really powerful, really strong, they are the leader of the pack and everything else. But then there's a toxic masculinity where they take everything to extreme. It's like, you do what I say. It's like they're the dominant one, they're the aggressive ones. So it's just all about, I think it's like, it can turn into toxicity. I just saw Cara saying alpha between the sheets. I agree with you, girlfriend. As long as the alpha,
I think.
Okay. Could we just...
so between the sheets, like.
So J Core has another question. So summary. He's a feminine man who thinks he's more masculine and assertive. So he's very gentle, but always says he really wants a really feminine woman. But when I step more into that role, he doesn't take charge.
I think with women, we really teach men how to be. I mean, you can be with a feminine guy, but you need to teach them. Like in a relationship, I think it's a lot to do with communication. You communicate how you want to be treated. You communicate how you want to resolve matters. So, for example, I would be very upfront and say, look, in public, I don't mind for you to just win the argument. In public, I'd rather be submissive. In public, because why? Because I want to show and save respect for my man. So I know I'm more attracted to obviously submissive guys, but in public it's very important that I play this role of just being submissive. I would allow him to just take charge.
All right, well, where are all the Lins out there, man? Come on, where are all the Lins out there? I need to find a Lin who knows about public,
It's
that's what I'm talking about.
It's so important that women, if we can take the time out to really study men and like how they work, how they function, and then, and learn to adapt to them. Because like, of course, there's the dominance and the submissive. That goes, that goes for both sides, dominant and submissive women. But I think with men, the first things first is respect. It doesn't matter. You can be submissive or you can be dominant. It's not a big issue with men. But in public, I think it's really important that you have to allow him to take charge. Allow him to win the argument. Allow yourself to just be quiet for a moment, But when you go home, you discuss it. You can say, look, the way that you was, I don't agree. Next time, I would prefer it if you was to deal with it this way. What do you think? And how do you feel about that? Always give them an option. I think with relationship, communication is absolute key. You can have whatever you want, your heart desires. A man will give a woman whatever she wants, honestly. But it's just how you communicate and how you navigate around it. How you go about it is really important. Yeah.
I like your approach, your mindset, what you just said there. Like a man will give a woman whatever she wants.
100%.
But the key here is knowing how to communicate to him.
Yes.
That's very, very powerful right there.
Yes.
Everyone should take note of that. Absolutely true. As a man, I concur. I concur. I agree. Right there. It's like, yes, absolutely. Oh, you tell them, sister. You tell them.
I do want to go back to, I think, Decor 1984, because he's definitely struggling with that. So I want to be clear on that one. He's a feminine man who thinks he's more masculine and assertive. So he's very gentle, but always saying how he wants a really feminine woman. But when I step into that role, he doesn't take charge. So I think the challenge in here, he can say he wants a feminine woman, but if I was you, I would ask him, like, what's his definition of feminine woman? Because
sorry, I keep jumping in. Feminine is just being sexy. That's feminine. It's
but
that's what is his definition,
like,
though.
That's
slowly.
But that's
what is his definition? That's the key.
That's my definition.
And that's true for you. That's totally cool. Like, that's not wrong what you said, but that's your definition of feminine.
Yeah.
So if this gentleman says to this lady that, I want a feminine woman, and she thinks that she steps into that role and he doesn't take charge, it sounds to me that there's a disconnection there. So the best thing would be to ask him, what is your definition of feminine woman? Because his definition of feminine could be something completely different than yours, Lynn, or mine, or Jono.
Yeah.
So I think it's like when it comes to this masculine and feminine, there are so many opinions because it becomes so popular. Like, everybody is talking about it. It's really important to ask. It's really important to understand what that person refers to, because I can say that I want a masculine man, but then my definition of masculine would be completely different than yours, Lynn. So it's kind of like, it's important to have these conversations. It's really important to understand what that person wants, because this lady, she is, she believes that she understands what he's asking, and she believes that she's giving to him, but then he doesn't take charge. So then I am not sure she actually understands exactly what he says. Okay, she says the definition is he likes to chase, soft, let him lead, very girl, and non-argumentative and sweet. Can I just say something, Decor? Are you like very girly girl and non-argumentative and sweet? But I'm not. I'm very feisty. So, for example,
Men love a bit of feisty.
I am very feisty.
Men love a bit of feisty. They say they don't like it, but they do.
But it's okay that if some men won't like it, I'm not for every man. Like, every man is not for me. So what I'm saying is that I'm just wondering if that's you, or you're trying to be someone that he wants you to be, but then it still doesn't fit. So I think it's just a question of that's you, because it's hard for a woman if you're not, like, if a guy says to me, says, men, no attitude, no argumentative, that's fine. I have an attitude.
No, but as a woman, I think it's,
so if a man is very sweet, very gentle, like very this and that, I'm not that. So like we have to agree with that. So I think it's like it's important to understand that. What is that?
I think it's very important for women to know which fights to pick and which fights to walk away, because you don't need to pick every fight, seriously, because then it's just chaos, and it's just like, you know, not every fight you need to win. Pick your fight very well, you know. And I think it's not even about fighting. It's just, if something's bothering you, set the boundary. Completely set boundaries. I think boundaries is really, really healthy. It goes back to like at the beginning when you guys were talking about, you know, whilst dating. I think it's really important, and it's really sexy for a woman to hold back. Men are made and they are born to chase. It's a very common fact. And I think women now
are you guys been born to chase?
Do you guys love a bit of like hard work, or do you want a girl just to sleep with you straight away?
I prefer the chase.
Right.
Personally, anyway.
You know, I understand.
Jono, goes back to the same thing. What's your definition of chase?
Chase, building courtship and connection.
Yeah, what's your definition of chase?
Building courtship and connection.
Okay. But
And
you don't
could only
mean
be
that,
done with
like,
time.
chasing, do you? Like, you mean...
No, but it's taking time to know the person that I want to be with.
Okay.
That's my
No,
definition.
this is a very interesting topic because lately a lot of men start to talk about, like, those days were in the old days, like we were hunters, like we don't want to just chase, like we just want to kind of like have more open and healthy conversations. It's like we want to be treated. That's what I mean. If she wants to, I want to know, like, why would I just have to chase?
Maybe the word chase is not the right word to use. Maybe the better word to say would be, you know, taking your time, allowing, because men fall in love with time. The more time you give them to spend time with you and to do things with you and to get to know you, the more likely he will be in a space to catch feelings. But if you're going to sleep with him straight away, then automatically his mind will be, okay, I've got the prize. What else is there? You know, so the idea, what I mean by, you know, women taking their time and keeping the cookie in the cookie jar, meaning what I meant by that was the more time that you can spend with a guy so that he can see a different side to you. So it's not just, oh, you're hot. Yeah, okay, I'm hot. That's cool. But he needs to see other sides to you, like your more feminine side, or how you think, or how, you know, how you operate mentally and emotionally. They eventually they fall in love with your soul, and it's not the body, because the body is very short-lived. A guy and a woman can find sex in every corner, especially with this online dating. So the online dating culture has ruined it for everybody. Because why? Because you can get sex by the swipe of your finger. And the reason why women are sleeping quicker with men nowadays, because they've got it in their head, oh, if I don't give it to him, the next girl will.
No.
Yeah.
No, the one word you use there, this is the big thing. If I give it to him, do you, like, this is a challenge?
Or if I give in, if I give in, or because women in their mind, especially like this younger generation, they've got it in their mind that the only way to get him in a relationship is to get in bed with him. They almost feel like, if I sleep with him and if I'm good at what I'm doing in bed, the likelihood is he's going to want to be my boyfriend, or he's going to more inclined to want. And this is where women get it all wrong. You know, you don't end up being their girlfriend by sleeping or by jumping. That's wrong, because when a woman goes down that chute, that jumping and down that chute, and you physically connect, we emotionally connect, but men don't. Men take longer to emotionally connect than what they do physically.
Yes,
You
but
know.
there's one thing that I'm cautious about. If there's a lot of strategy and tools, like strategies and techniques, and like if you
You
see
need it.
that,
You need it.
I
You
don't.
need it.
I respect what you're saying, and I do understand what you're saying, but I don't know if it applies every time if it doesn't align with somebody, because then you're just basically applying this strategy, which is not you. It's a technique that you don't believe in. So I'm all about that, what feels really true to you. So are you like, I'm not saying you, but if somebody like, are you sleeping with the guys because of the intentions that you're saying, then that's a complete misalignment anyway. That's not their truth. So if somebody sleeps with the guys that with the hope that, you know, I'm going to be so amazing in bed, he's going to be my boyfriend, that's not in alignment. That's not their truth. But then if they feel like they should really like hold back for 3 months, 6 months, they should wait longer. It's because
Hold
of
back until you're ready. And the only time you're ready is when you feel it. You should be able, women, we have an intuition to feel. You should be able to feel if his action meets his words. If he's putting in the effort to getting to know you, is he doing what he's supposed to be doing? You know, and not just what he's saying. Men make time for women that they want to make time for. And if
that's what we all do, though. I make time for the man that I want to make time. I don't mind. I don't make
the
time.
thing is, yeah,
I don't.
the thing is,
I'm so cautious for separating such a man and woman, because people are people. Like there's a lot of things there, but a lot of things you say that it applies to me as well. So you know, like, and I think it applies to a lot of people. I think it's like what I'm really careful. Like whatever we say to people, okay, do that. You do this, wait like 3 months, wait 6 months, and hold back and be masculine.
There's no right way or wrong way. Look, at the end of the
I
day,
think that people should really get to know themselves first, really get to know their intentions and what they want from that relationship, what feels true to them, and not necessarily kind of like a go for if I do this and then I'm going to get that. And then they say, you know what, this is what I want to do. And if I get anything in return, that's fine. But if it's not, it's cool. Because the reason we talk about this earlier as well, I don't know if you were actually online, if you heard that conversation too. One of the biggest heartbreaks is that expectations and attachment. So like at least in my experience, in my work as well, if we could get to the place that we're not really attached to the outcome, if we don't have any too much expectations, we would have less disappointments and heartbreaks.
100%.
They're my thoughts.
Expectations always leads to disappointment. But you know, like the thing is, in 9 out of 10, I mean, I don't know, unless a woman is emotionless and she's very strong in that department. But in my opinion, like a lot, if there's 10 women, 8 out of the 10, they would normally get emotionally attached the moment they start to physically get involved. So, but that's just, you know, I mean, this is why it's so important. If you're looking for love, take your time to get to know them. But if you're just looking for fun, then hey, anyone and everyone, Mr. Right for right now. It doesn't really matter. It really doesn't really matter. If you're looking for fun, then what does it matter? But the thing is, if you're not looking for fun and you are looking for love and you want that relationship, then by all means, make him work for it. Men love it. I mean, they love it. They love a bit of hard work, just like they love a bit of feistiness. Not too much, but, you know, all this yes, no, and, you know, nodding, they get fed up with that after a while. They marry yes, no, nodding, but really and truly, men love a bit of feisty. You know, they do like it. They claim that they don't, but they do, in my opinion.
Jono, do you guys feisty? I say them awesome.
You guys, listening.
Where's the popcorn when you need it? You know, this is popcorn time. This is when I need to be munching on my popcorn, listening to you girls talking.
Well, I finished my popcorn last night, so I should have kept it for tonight. But hey, bro, you haven't said anything. You haven't said a word for like 20 minutes, so you might as well talk. Do you love chasing? Do you like a little bit of chasing, bro?
Do you like chasing? Do you like feisty? What is it like? Oh, come on, talk.
Uh, uh, yes and no.
You can't be
I
bothered.
have many male friends as well, so I can speak for majority of different categories of men too. I, I believe, look, going to the feisty topic, okay, look, that's a preference. There
Yeah.
is no
Okay.
such thing as a thing.
Mhm.
It's a preference. Some
It's
men
what-
love a bit of feistiness in women, that is
Mhm.
true. Uh, some men don't.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like zero feistiness is a turn off. For some men, it's a
Mhm.
turn off. So don't take that as a formula. It's a preference. It really is a preference. It's like, do you like chili in your food or not? It's
Mhm.
some people like chili, some people don't. It's a preference. Okay, so so that's feistiness gone. I like personally, preferably, I do like a hint of spiciness and feistiness. That's my personal taste. You know, I do like a bit of chili in my food every now and then, but not all the time. Okay, so that's out of the picture. That's out of it. Um, the other thing, questions about chasing. I'm a fisherman. I don't like to chase. I like to fish.
That's still a form of chasing.
Right. So, but I will go back to what you guys all said, which is universally true, and that is how much investment is that guy putting in terms of
Yes.
energy.
It's about
How
investment.
much energy? Because
Mhm.
as one of my spiritual teachers says, everything in relationship has to do with your involvement. How much are you involved in that, in participating in growing that particular relationship, whether it be intimate relationship, sex, marriage, friends, family, loved one? It's the same thing. We got to be involved, and involvement comes with our input of energy. And sometimes that is time, sometimes that is action, that we need to do something to go after it. Sometimes it be money that we have to spend on that person. But money, whether it be money, time, or physical energy, it's energy, it's involvement. So yes, I agree that in all, and like all human beings, not just men, we don't value things that we get for free as a
Yes.
human being,
Yes.
right? We never value those things that we work for. However, we feel
Yes.
like we put some energy into it. It doesn't have to be
Mhm.
a lot of energy, but we feel like I've put some energy, some effort into it, and I've got something back. I'm gonna
That's
hang
the
on to
point.
this. So that is true. I totally agree with both of you on that side of things. And I think to make it clear for the audience, I think is if we just take all the labels out, like chasing, what does it mean?
Mhm.
Gathering, hunting, what does that all mean? You know, we just take all the definition away and we just think of it as, look, how much input is that
Mhm.
man, that guy putting into, how much effort is he putting into it? And we can intuitively tune into that most of the time anyway, like you say, over time. But yeah, I you know, that's the reason why I stay quiet. You know, it's like it's just that everyone's talking about the same thing in different language at the end of the day.
Sure, yeah.
But yes.
Kara says, I asked a guy why he chose his wife, and he said, took him 9 months to get her. That's very interesting. Not sure
Interesting.
if it's really, not sure if it's the healthiest answer that I heard, but each on their for their own, I guess. You know.
I will say this to this is a follow up. Um, this is a follow up to what we've just said, and to answer Kara's question. I'll tell you something. This is also true. Some men, and I'm talking about myself, when you get to a certain stage in life,
Oh
and
man, are
there
you?
is, yeah, when you get to a certain, when a man gets to a certain stage in his life, he's got no time for games. So that on a
Yeah, that's a
contrast, that
point.
also means, let me tell you something, this also means this man has no time to chase you. You have to think about it from that perspective. I am personally at this stage right now. I know what I want. If I want someone, I will go after that person, and if that person doesn't reciprocate, and she's trying to play games with me, I'm gone.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good
So
point.
with what you've just said, Lynn, about, because I mean, I'm not dismissing what you're saying, because this is
Mhm.
true for most people, but for some people, you have to understand from the man's point of view for what
Mhm.
stage he's at. If you're holding back, if you're intentionally playing the game and holding
Mhm.
back and
Mhm.
not giving in,
Yeah, that's the
that
point.
guy might be the perfect guy for you, but he's
Yeah,
gone
yeah.
because he's got no
No,
time for your game.
I think that's a very good point
Yeah.
that you've made there. What how so my idea of game is not like playing a game, it's just being more reserved is a better word.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
you
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
allowing the man to make investments is
Yeah.
a better word, because sometimes I don't
Yeah.
articulate myself or use the right words, let's say. But I think it's being more reserved, holding back, creating time and space to see actions rather than words, and to see
Yeah.
the level of investment, because
That's good.
everybody has standards, right? And
Yes.
everybody
Yes.
has a price. Like you must. Sorry, I don't know the young lady's name.
Dilara.
Yeah, you must have a price, right? You
Yeah.
must have a price on your soul. Like what are your standards? For example, I will have a a standard to how I want to be treated, or how I would like the man to show up, let's say. So I'm looking at the return investment, because I know, like, what I can bring to the table and how much value I can add to his life. So when I say the word game, it's not playing a childish game, it's being a bit more reserved and holding back and seeing, and the investment that he's making, so that you can
that's good.
identify, is
So
he
basically, you're taking a step back and give that time, give yourself some time to observe how much this guy is willing to put into the game.
Because
That's good.
once through
That's very good.
observation,
Yeah.
or through observation, is either going to be Mr. Right for right now, or he's the potential future. Now, there's two different. If he's Mr. Right for right now, do what you want, when you want, what you want. Don't really matter. But if he's Mr. Potential, meaning he has the potential to be something, a future partner here, because of the way he's invested his time and his energy and his effort, and who he is and how he is as a person through time, getting to know him, then you treat that kind of relationship slightly different. This is how I operate, because if he's not showing up the way, then he's just Mr. Right for right now. Do you want him? Do you want to take it? If not, okay, bye, next. You've got to sift through them. Ladies, don't be too attached in holding on to this one leg of a person, that sounds terrible, but yeah, don't hold on to his leg. Next, it's like, okay, I'm going to give you a space. I'm going to give you 3 months time frame to get to know you. And in this time of getting to know you, I'm just going to be an authentic me. I'm just going to be me. And I'm hoping that you're going to be you. But I'm going to ask you questions like, how was your childhood growing up? What's your relationship like with your mom? Your last relationship, why did it end? What do you value in relationships? What makes you happy? What makes you sad? These are questions that women should be asking, and don't fear asking, because if he has a problem, or if he feels uncomfortable answering, there's a problem already there. An authentic man, or a man that's ready, he should have no problems with answering like difficult questions, because you need to know, you need to identify, where are you in, at what stage are you in your life, not just your career, but in terms of your emotional, it's, I mean, asking a guy, are you emotionally available? That's a bit too direct. But like,
a man won't know. The guy won't know.
It's not direct. It's not direct. It's just that he won't know. There's not a lot of men that's very self-aware. So the questions you're asking are great questions, but these are questions that's not everyone's gonna know. Not everyone's trained, and not everyone's invested in the personal development to know what they want and
then
quality of questions to ask.
Then he's not mentally mature enough to be able to deal
well,
with.
The thing is, not all ladies also know these questions either.
Be the case, though. I think like we need to be a little bit more cautious about how much of a generalization we say. If he's this, then this is this. If
okay,
he's
maybe
that,
I'm coming across wrong.
I think it's okay. There's wrong. It's not. I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm just saying I think sometimes we need to be a little bit more careful, because when we say it's like this, It's like that. We're just
look,
putting.
you know, at the end of the day, come on, look, we're adults. We're adults. What are you looking for? We're absolute adults. There's no beating around the bush here. What is it that you're looking for? Where are you at this stage in your life? What do you value most about?
You're very right about this, Lynn, and it's very, very true what you're saying.
Because time is money. Time is effort.
It is. But you have to look, Lynn. Sorry to interrupt. You're very wise. You sound like a very wise woman with years of knowledge and experience. But you have to also understand, a lot of the audience listening, especially the millennial generation, they're nowhere near you in terms of the experience I'm talking about, to accumulate all of this, what you're saying. And to go back to what Jono was saying, you have to understand that not only are the men not aware of these things themselves, and it's nothing to do with their mental attitude, it's nothing to do with whether they are ready for not or not. It's simply because in this particular generation, men particularly are lost through conditioning. They are just lost. They don't know what they want in a woman simply because it's a reflection of they don't really know what they want in life. You have to come from a compassionate point of view in this sense. You have to understand this. So and for women too, not just men, right? For women too, a lot of women they don't really know what they want in a man as well, because they don't really know what they want in life. Everything comes from a reflection of understanding what you want in your life. Everything you've said is true. But that's because you're coming from a space where you know crystal clear what you want in your personal life. But you also have to understand, many young people, we're talking about young people, they may be adults, but they're still young. They may be adults, but they're still young, okay? Because they either lack experience or they've just been conditioned wrongly due to cultural differences or whatever.
Millennials are actually one of my favorite type of generation. I'm gonna put my hands on my heart. I love the millennials. I love the way they operate. I love the way they think, and I love the way that they do everything. Millennials are far more intelligent than our generation by far. I love the millennials. Believe it or not, they know a lot more than what we know, because for us, we took ages growing up. Millennials, they might be 20, 25, 26. They're advanced. They definitely know what they want. It's just not a lot of people will set aside the time to get to know themselves. That's know correct. What they want. Yes. They just don't know themselves. That's
correct.
You know.
Well,
there's a difference there.
Yeah, because the thing is, because we're living in a generation where we're full of information. There's too much. Yeah. It's a dilemma, right? So it's not that they don't know what they want. They just don't really know, out of all the options and choices that they've got, which one exactly is it the right thing for them. Like I said, it's distraction. At the end of the day, there's so much distractions and so many options out there. We have
they're just spoiled for choice.
The dilemmas.
100%.
So and that is the thing. And like I said, at the end of the day, it comes across as a reflection of, and it manifests into their relationship choices as well. Which is why, I'm totally agreeing with everything you've said, by the way. I'm not disagreeing or dismissing anything you've said, because I totally agree with you. Because I know what I want right now at this current stage of my life. I know exactly the kind of woman I'm looking for in my life, right? Like I said, I don't have time for games, right? If you're playing games with me, I'm gone, right? But at the same time, I've been through... but at the same time, I've been through that journey to understand that, you know what, a lot of people are still searching. A lot of people are still trying to figure things out. A lot of people don't really know. So you got to give some benefit of the doubt for that guy as well, and allow but I will say this, because you mentioned something earlier on about potential and loving the guy, Mr. Right now, and loving Mr. Right in the potential. There's one thing I really love, and that is someone once said to me that don't ever fall in love with someone's potential. Because I think that is the biggest takeaway I've ever taken away. One of the biggest takeaway anyway when it comes to a relationship, and that is, you want to love the person for who they are right now. Because if you can't, and if that person doesn't change, you're fucked.
Let me correct that. So Mr. Right for right now, what I meant by that is maybe the way he thinks and the way he operates doesn't match the way that you operate or think. But he may look very delicious. Let's say sometimes I use the wrong words, but I'm just going to use it.
So this is not Mr. Right, but Mr. Tasty.
Yeah. Mr. Right for right now.
Right, so Mr. Tasty, not Mr. Right, but Mr. Tasty. Okay. Mr. Starters, right? He's not the main course, he's just the starters.
What I mean by that, it would be, his morals, his value, the way he thinks may not match up to what you're looking for. So he doesn't have that potential. What I don't mean by potential is, does he have a car? Does he have a house? Does he have a good job? That doesn't even come into it. When you're looking for a long-term relationship, in my opinion, you have to look deeper than the surface. The surface level is just surface. It's just like a job, a house, a car. How much does he earn? Does he have a fit body? That's surface level. It's understanding.
Are you talking about their personal internal growth as a human being?
Yeah, that comes with experience, I guess.
Yeah, but at the same time, I will still say you don't fall in love with that potential at all, because some people chooses not to grow.
Yeah, that's a different subject in itself.
Okay,
so right. That's why
I'm gonna
go back. I'm
going to cut in because we will address J Core's question. It's been hanging around for a while.
Yeah, sorry. So let's do that before I say goodbye to everybody, because it's so late.
We love you, by the way. We love having you, Lynn. You're giving us a lot of new, fresh content, new perspective, and new bantering materials. I'm here just to banter, right?
It's just I cannot see the feed from the viewers. I can't see what the viewers are writing, so I don't stop to think like who's writing what.
That's fine. Jono will stop us. Don't worry.
That's why I'm just popping up now and then.
Yeah, that is because what, I would love to be able to read what people are writing, because it's so important to understand the viewers' thoughts and opinions. Because
do you see the pop-ups when I show up the questions? Does that pop up for you or not?
No, I don't see any of it, sadly. Otherwise I would be. I'm so I would love to understand what other people, the viewers are thinking. It's very
okay.
important.
So this question here is, I love this chat. Okay, so how to tell a guy off that you're not officially yet dating for flaky behavior without being overly aggressive, but still getting your point across so they respect it.
Okay,
instead of being so submissive that they think you have no boundaries and can get away being that way because you're not dating. This is from J Core 1984.
So can I be
the feminine guy that's looking for feminine in a woman but wouldn't take charge?
Okay, so could I please answer that, because time for me is running out. So Jacob, I really would like to answer that question.
Go for it.
Let's say, for example, if I was to address that, I'll say, oh, darling, the other day, what you said or what you did whilst we was out having drinks or with friends, it really hurt my feelings, like how you express, or said, etc., or what you done. It really did hurt my feelings. And I really would like to address this to let you know that, please, in future, if you must say or do, could you maybe do it this way or that way? How do you feel about this? Because it really did hurt my feelings that day, and I really don't want you to repeat that, because by repeating the thing that's going to upset me is going to be very difficult for me to deal with. So can we have a chat and find a solution forward so that we both can be happy into resolving something that, if it did occur again, we would know how to act and behave. So what are your thoughts on this? I would ask him, I would tell him what he done hurt my feelings and why, and then I will ask him if he felt that it's valid, and if it is, then how are we going to move forward by this in a very loving way. Men deal with honey far more better than salt. What I mean by that, before I go, is, even if they're alphas or they're submissive, is speaking to a man at a level of respect. You're going to get everything, ladies. But if you're gonna come in with I and this and if and but, you're not gonna get anything. One, they're not gonna hear you, and two, they're inclined to not want to deal with you. And as a result, if anything, they're gonna go into the cave. I call it the cave, meaning they're gonna take space. And that's not where you want him. So you just tell him, just like, you know, I really appreciate you. I think you're a wonderful boyfriend. You know, you do amazing things for me and you really do make me happy. However, that one incident or that day or that situation really did hurt my feelings. Can we please sit and have a chat? And that's it. Give him that option. Or if he says, oh, no, I'm not ready to chat, then you say to him, oh, okay, whenever, you know, when you feel ready, then you let me know. And then we can, you know, have a sit down chat. And then give him a hug, give him a kiss, stroke his, you know, back or whatever. And then that's it. Leave it for him to come back. If not, then if he's ready to chat, let's chat. And allow him to express. And it's so important to listen. I'm working, if I could advise anyone, if you really want a guy to fall in love with you, another trick is to learn to listen. Is in my opinion, respect him by listening. It makes them feel loved. It makes them feel important. It makes them feel respected. But anyway, guys, I cannot be on here for too long because it's past my bedtime.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for your time and wisdom. Really appreciate it. It's been a pleasure having you.
I would have loved to be able to read the feed from the viewers and thank them for their opinions, because their opinions are very valuable and very valid. You know, unfortunately, I couldn't see them, so I spent more time talking than answering. I hope in the future I'm able to read it so that I can, you know, connect and engage with the audience, because I think, you know, it's important that we do. But you guys have been amazing, by the way, and I'm very grateful to be here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to leave now, everyone, because I have a early gym session tomorrow, and yes, and it's a heavy, you know, gym session, so I have to be present. So I will see you guys next time.
Thanks,
Lynn.
Thank
you, Lynn. Good night.
Bye, viewers. Thank you.
Bye.
Ooh.
So then the next questions would be, Kirsty had come up one. A lot of people don't know themselves. That can make it hard to know what you want in a relationship. Absolutely true.
Yes.
I 100% agree. If you don't know yourselves enough, then you won't know what you want in a relationship.
That's very true.
What else is there? George, Lynn's now hungry. The thirst is real.
Everyone else just bantering right now.
Okay.
Love
Don't
it.
ever do a Mr. Right Now because they can mess up your life. Disagree.
Yeah.
Lynn, again, this comes down to culture. Mainland Chinese tradition dictates on surface level requirements before they even dive any deeper. That is very true. They always go, how many properties do you have? How many cars do you have? How much money do you have?
Oh my goodness, I'm sorry, I've been very childish today.
You've been very childish? No, you've been very, very sensible, Michael. Love you tonight. Thanks. We need people like you. We need audiences like you, you know, to keep the blood going.
keep it light and fun. Thank you, Michael, for staying up with us, by the way.
Exactly. I mean, like I was sharing with Michael earlier on, you know, I'm no hunter, I'm no chaser, I'm no gatherer, but I'm great at fishing. I like to just sit there, throw my bait, and reel fishing.
Oh, here you go. So J Core, Kara says you need to read Why Men Love Bitches.
Have you read that book, sis?
Of course I did.
What's your opinion on that? Is it a recommended book to read?
It is a good book.
Okay.
But you know, I'm a little bit cautious lately that the kind of things that I recommend to people, because they take the name, they take one thing from the book, and
they make assumptions, right? Yeah.
And they
Would you recommend that to me and bro?
Do you recommend for me to read it, for example? No.
Oh Oh, okay. I won't bother then.
All right, that's off our list. We're not reading that.
Yeah, I won't add it to my list then.
It's more,
Not because I know that we need it anyway. You and I both don't need that.
it's more for the
No, but I'm
woman.
just curious if it's one of the books that we could add it to our list.
It's for more women who have people pleasing tendencies, like men pleasing and doing a lot of things for them. So that's the kind of says about having boundaries and stop being a more dormant. Yeah, dormant, people pleasing, men dormant, dormant. The only thing is, like, I guess, like, it's not in my language, it's not in my teaching. Men don't like this, women don't like this. I'm just be a little bit careful of that. To use such strong statements, because I think a lot of things are varying, and that's what I always say, that you can say that you can do something that you think that, okay, like, this is it, this is boundary, this is this, but then just like you say, Ick, that you could it could I don't want to say that backfire, but then you could kind of close the doors for someone so amazing. Maybe somebody needs a little bit more time to feel comfortable to reach out, to speak. So
absolutely.
I say that I do not have one size fit all advice, and I don't have strong opinions about men like this. Men want to chase, women want to be chased. Men do this, women do this. I'm not really sure how much all this has been helping us. Because then I think some people take that, off they go, they do it, and then they still feel disappointed, and then they go like, fuck this, I don't want to date anymore, this is none of this shit is works.
Well, the thing, the words that's being used is men or women should do this.
I don't believe there's
and when the word should do this, it's like Tony Robbins says, right? You should all over yourselves. And you end up in disappointment because you're doing all these shoulds. But are they shoulds? Who says they're shoulds? Why should you do that? Question it. The thing is, we don't question why should we do it in the first place.
Yeah.
We don't question enough. We don't question enough, right?
Yeah, I'm just a little bit cautious about that kind of thing,
So I'm very aware of when people go, men should do this, or women should do this. Like, no, where does that come from? Like, how true is it?
Last week we were talking about conditional, unconditional love, so-called unconditional love or conditional love. It's like, if you love me, you would do this. Like, you say you love me, then you should do this. It's I think once it gets to like negotiation, or I did this for you, I did all this for you, what did you do for me?
It becomes transactional. That's not even love anymore. That's more like a business,
Yeah.
It's like,
I don't know how much that's helpful for people,
That's not healthy. That's a business. That's not love.
Yeah.
It's a transaction. Then it just becomes like a deal, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, like, this is probably a good way to close the night if you guys want to close it, because I'm just being conscious of the time and it's almost 3 hours now. But to end it off on a good note, I think one of the best thing to give to the audience today would be, look, where this is one of the reasons why, by the way, guys, that Dilara is such a great coach, because all great coaches don't project their own shit onto you, and they don't tell you what you need to do. There's no one size fit all. They guide you. Great coaches, they share with you knowledge and templates and frameworks, and they guide you towards finding the right answers for yourself, right? So yes, like, there is no such thing as a universal answer for anyone or for anything, because different people in different stages of life, like, to go back to that example Lynn said earlier on, was a great one. Like, if yes, being reserved as a woman is great, but depending on the man, depending on what stage of his life is, like right now, you try to play games with me and be reserved with me, I'm like, goodbye. Right? So it really, there's no one size fit all. So it comes down to understanding yourself, knowing what you want and your boundaries, and having
what's okay, not okay,
what's okay, what's not okay with you, where's the flexibility in that, how do I adapt to that, and knowing what you want
for you, communicating in a healthy way.
Exactly. Communicate it in a healthy way. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Kirsty has raised one. Men and women don't have specific do's and don'ts or wants and dislikes. Every person and relationship is different and unique, and you can't really use blanket statements for it.
I agree.
True. So, Michael, everything in business and relationships have nuances.
So I'm not laughing at them. I'm laughing at the message after. Sorry. I'm so sorry.
So,
I'm sorry.
a perfect outcome for relationships and business is the art of getting your percentage right. How much percentage do you or your relationship require of time together, submissive, aggressive, feminine, manly, etc.?
Should we just pick up with that one next week?
Yeah. We can pick up with that one next week.
I just feel energetically we're done. I don't know.
Yeah. I
Okay,
mean, unless anyone has any dying, burning questions.
Apologies, Michael. We're going to save this one for next week. We're going to bank it.
We'll bank that question for next week.
We'll bank this question for next week.
Yes. Unless anyone really has some burning desired unanswered question and you must have it answered today, then feel free. But otherwise, feel free to ask ahead, and Jono will bank your questions. And we love banking questions.
Use the form, the Google form that I created. Pull it in there. I'm gonna submit Michael's question in there on behalf of Michael because I'm banking it.
Yeah. And next week, I'm definitely popping open a new bottle of red wine.
No. It take this long to finish one glass of wine. That's what I say. I'm a lightweight. Exactly.
Oh gosh.
Thank you so much for everyone. Thank you for the comments, contributions, discussions. It's just so lovely that when it comes to the relationships, regardless that you do that for a full time as a job, expert, whatever the labels are, it's all about conversations. It's all about discussions. It's all about learning. So just want to say thank you so much for all of you, your thoughts, and I surely learn a lot from you guys as well. And there are things that I just I surely will reflect as well. So thank you so much, bro. Next week, you and me again with wine, Jono, for having us.
Okie dokie.
I'd just be too drunk to work anything, so it wouldn't be my game.
Okie dokie. Next week, same time. See you guys.
Right, thank you. Good night. I'll see you guys on Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. with another special guest.
Awesome. Bye, guys.
Bye, all. Good night.
Good night.